many of them in their cars driving, opening the doors, then submerging. There have been more than 1,000 water rescues carried out as well.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Lumberton, where rescuers still haven't checked all the submerged cars. Samsung is telling anyone with a recalled Galaxy Note 7 phone or a replacement to power it down and stop using it. Samsung's telling stores to stop selling them, and the company will no longer produce them. After more reports of the phones overheating, smoking, even catching fire, as Samsung goes to the Supreme Court today to challenge the $400 million it's been ordered to pay Apple for patent infringement.
A federal circuit court has upheld that verdict, ruling Samsung copied the distinctive look and some interface designs from the Apple iPhone. The justices are not deciding whether or not there was infringement, but rather how large the penalty should be. Samsung argues it should not have to forfeit all its profits on smartphones because the patents infringed make up just small components of overall smartphone design. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Donald Trump will go to Texas and Florida today, defiant amid the fallout over the leaked video of him making crude remarks about women.
If they want to release more tapes saying inappropriate things, we'll continue to talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton doing inappropriate things.
Hillary Clinton called him an equal opportunity insulter, offending all sorts of people, and took aim at his business record.
For all his talk about putting America first, he's made his products in at least 12 other countries.
Clinton will get some help campaigning today. Former Vice President Al Gore will join her for the first time in Florida. Kids will go to school in Chicago this morning after a teacher's strike was averted by the midnight deadline with a tentative agreement on a new contract. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This morning we have 56 degrees at 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Students and teachers are heading back to the classroom after the CTU and the nation's third largest school district averted a strike with a late night contract agreement.
This is a very big moment for Chicago and for CPS.
Fourth grade teacher Carlos Correa saying they appreciated support from families yesterday heading into the final critical hours. CTU President Karen Lewis says the agreement is not perfect, but good for students and teachers.
It wasn't easy, as you all know. Clearly, we had some issues, and there's some things we're going to still be working on.
The union had been prepared to hit the picket lines this morning for what would have been the second major Chicago public school strike since 2012. San Francisco Giants still alive in the National League Division Series. Joe Panik's drive off the wall scored the winning run in the bottom of the 13th. Giants over the Cubs 6-5 in Game 3 at AT&T Park. Skipper Joe Madden says credit the Giants for finding a way to win.
Good baseball game. That's my takeaway. I think that both sides should be somewhat exhilarated. Obviously, they win, so they're going to feel a bit better about it. But there's nothing on our side to be ashamed of. I was really proud of our kids, man.
Jake Arrieta, a 3-run shot off Madison Bumgarner in the second, giving the Cubs an early 3-0 lead. Chris Bryant tied that game up for Chicago with a home run in the ninth. And Chicago still leads the best of 5 matchup 2-1. Mayor Emanuel promising that the budget he's releasing today will include money for half of the new police officers he wants to hire. At Chicago City Hall, AM 560's David Stewart.
Mayor Emanuel says there will be about $65 million in the budget to cover year one of his 2-year plan to hire 970 new cops. Emanuel says no general revenue tax hikes, but some new fines and fees. Among them, a 7-cent per bag tax on plastic and paper bags handed out in large stores. That's intended to do what the current plastic bag ban didn't do, get the public to carry reusable bags. Emanuel also wants to move ahead with a plan to upgrade the 311 non-emergency phone system. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Governor Rauner says Donald Trump's leaked tape is disgusting. Rauner speaking about the controversy yesterday before the Columbus Day Parade kicked off in Chicago, calling the GOP presidential nominee's comments appalling, but stopped short of saying he would not vote for him. We told you about the Giants and Cubs. There was other baseball yesterday. Indians sweep out Boston with a 4-3 win. Anthony Rendon belts a 2-run home run. Jason Worth 3 for 4. Nationals beat the Dodgers 8-3. Monday Night Football. Tampa Bay, the Bucks over the Panthers, 17-14. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. If you can't remember the last time that you changed your antifreeze, that probably means it's time to head down to a participating Napa Auto Parts store and grab some Prestone antifreeze for $12.99 a gallon. Keep your ride running longer, stronger for less. That's Napa Know-How. Offer expires 11/13/60. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You know what? I want to tell you something, America.
The Joe Walsh Show.
We ask our cops to do an ugly, impossible job. And way too many of us hate on them every day. I'll tell you what, America, you are going to wake up, so help me God, America, you are going to wake up one day without police officers in this country. And you will deserve it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. As native Chicagoans, my partners and I know this city, its economy, and the challenges that small businesses face. We like to think of Signature Bank as your hometown bank. Chicagoans helping Chicagoans. We understand that banking is ultimately about people, and we build long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We stand by our customers, and our customers stand by us, and we welcome new customers every day. We look forward to welcoming you and your business into the Signature Bank family.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. You know, most people flunk on their first go-around, signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
Building owners, are you experiencing problems with your flat roof? Do you know where you're at in the life cycle of your roof? Install, repair, renew, or replace? One of the largest investments you will make to protect your building and its contents is the roof system on your building. So trust that investment to a proven industry leader. Trust it to Waukegan Roofing. Waukegan Roofing is a commercial and industrial low-slope roofing contractor installing roofs you can rely on since 1914. We install, service, and maintain all types of commercial and industrial low-slope roof systems for the Chicago area. We've installed millions of square feet of quality roofing systems, protecting buildings and their valuable contents for more than 100 years. So wherever you are in the life cycle of your roof, Waukegan Roofing is prepared to help you manage each stage with professional service and technical expertise. Call us today to schedule an appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Dr. Amy has really helped me. After experiencing a divorce in my 50s, I wasn't sure how to handle the stress and changes I was about to encounter. I needed to find a new profession since my ex-husband and I had worked together at our own company. Plus, there were other challenges with our own grown kids, family, and friends. It was wonderful to have Dr. Amy's guidance through this difficult situation. She kept me on track and assured me I was thinking correctly. She made a very hard time easier, and I will forever be grateful. If you're going through some hard life struggles, I would highly recommend Dr. Amy and Associates.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit DrAmyAndAssociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America, Automated Systems Incorporated, and by Best Dental Group.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Dave Reef, and I just did a refinance with Townstone Financial. I was particularly impressed with Townstone Financial and the way they work to accommodate our schedule. With both my wife and I working, we really had trouble finding time to get all the paperwork together and sign the documents. Townstone Financial went above and beyond in working with us and ensuring that we locked in the lowest possible rate so we could cash out so we could purchase a new parking spot in our condominium.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Let's get an update on the roads this morning. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Overnight roadwork has cleared on the outbound Kennedy between Harlem and Cumberland. Traffic is moving well there once again. No more delays to report after it was pretty heavy earlier. Now it's just 20 minutes downtown to O'Hare and inbound the same. Eastbound Adams Tollway overnight work is cleared. 2 to Manheim, and traffic now moves well in that area. The other expressways and tollways are good at the moment. There's still some overnight work on the outbound Rhine to the outbound Bishop Ford, but no significant delay. Downtown closures of Balboa and Jackson remain in place after the Chicago Marathon. Those streets are scheduled to reopen early tomorrow. Traffic is a service of Subway. Now at Subway, Tuesday is Oven Roasted Chicken Day. That's today's 356-inch sub of the day. Oven roasted chicken has no artificial flavors or colors from artificial sources. For just $3.50, it's a great sub for a great price. There's a different 356-inch sub every day, only at Subway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer is next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a shower around into the early parts of the afternoon. High 72, then turning out partly cloudy for tonight with a low 57. Breezy tomorrow with a morning shower, then occasional rain and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly cloudy, high 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 56 at O'Hare, 61 along Chicago's lakefront, and 56 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, Amy, I've got some good news and bad news for you. As I see you donning your Cubs sweatshirt. The good news...
It just ended, by the way.
The good news. Do you want to hear the good news first?
Sure. You know what? Let's hear the good news first.
You're going to Game 4 in San Francisco.
Yeah. I have a ticket.
Yeah.
That's the good news is I have a ticket.
The good news. So that's the good news. The bad news is there's going to be a Game 4 after the... 13-inning victory by the Giants, despite the fact, I mean, I got to say,
yes,
after they touched up Aroldis Chapman and then Chris Bryant hitting a 2-run homer in the top of the ninth to tie it, I was fairly dejected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then, thankfully, in the 13th, they got it done, and so yeah, I know you were fast
Giants,
asleep from your tweeting.
The Giants have won 10 straight October games when facing elimination, so that's, this is what they do. They've won, what, 3 World Series since 2010? Yeah.
A lot of people don't know Amy used to work for Elias Sports Bureau. So she's very statistics driven.
Yes, I am.
When it comes to baseball.
It's all about the numbers, Dan.
Uh-huh.
But the bad news is that there's not going to be a teacher strike. See, me going to San Francisco was contingent. I thought for sure there was going to be a teacher strike.
Why?
Because then we have a game today, a volleyball game.
So have your number 2 coach it.
Can't because she's in jury duty.
Hmm.
So I'm in a little bit of dilemma now. I still have the ticket. I still have the airline ticket.
I'll go.
Wait, how about you, coach? You can throw on a blonde wig, walk into Blaine, get the little swag on.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Take my ID, get in the gym, get the girls going. They'll never know that it's not me.
Yeah, no.
Oh, look, Damie's here. Dan and Amy.
Yeah. Amy's transitioning.
Yeah. She's exactly.
Yeah.
I can give you the
Girls, I have something difficult I need to discuss with you. But the good news is that CPS is totally supportive, and your parents are paying for my transition. That's the good news.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be a fun conversation.
But you're gonna play a 5-1 offense. I've got it. You can learn this in about 10 minutes. I can go over it with you, and then I can go to the game.
Denigrating the profession of coaching volleyball.
No, I think you'd be great because if a girl misses, you'd be like, "You sissy, get out!"
Right.
Substitution.
There would be
you
a lot
get the
of
next one. You what's your name? Number? You look athletic. You look scrappy. Come on in.
Yeah, I'm kind of the Bobby Knight style of coaching. I don't know if they're used to that. So
you're gonna throw a chair.
Well,
and scare the 10-year-old girls.
I don't know if I will or if I won't.
I don't know what to do. I didn't sleep at all last night. Well, obviously the Cubs game, but also too the CPS strike.
Did you watch the Cubs game to the finish?
I watched. I went in and out of consciousness. I watched until the strike at 11:54 when they announced that they're going back to school today.
Well, since
we're going back to school.
There will be classes in the morning.
Okay, got that?
Yeah, thank you, Karen.
It's your friend
Lewis.
Karen Lewis who won't follow you on Twitter anymore.
She blocked me.
Oh, that's even worse.
She attacked me.
She had cyberspace security guards block you?
She attacked me, and then she Milo'd me. She eliminated me from her Twitter existence. That's fine. She can't take the heat. I understand that sometimes Karen Lewis's invective is one direction.
Sorry.
She can dish it. She cannot take it, but that's fine. The whole point about the game, though, CPS is just a big daycare center anyway. So why don't they just? Yeah, no, it is. Actually, at best, it's a daycare center. At best, it's a daycare center. At worst, what it actually is a Soviet-style, centrally planned re-education center that miseducates 90% of its students. So what are we celebrating? So this will go on uninterrupted. I guess that's the celebration. And, of course, early word is what on the pension pickup, which was the whole basis of the potential strike.
So they said they'll have raises in year 3 and 4 of their contract.
Oh, great.
Yeah. But also that if you're a teacher currently, you're going to keep your pension pickup. Here is the one and the only Karen Lewis, who has blocked Dan Proft from Twitter.
So what we're doing is that the people that are currently working will keep their pension pickup. The new hires will not have it, but they will get at some point a salary adjustment. So it's about compensation.
Oh, wait a second.
Did you hear that?
What a revelation. So it's not about the kids? It's about compensation?
Yes, after all that.
That was her Albert Shanker moment there, Karen Lewis. It's about the compensation. Yeah, I know. We know, but it's nice to hear you say it so we can all agree what it's about, that it's not about the kids. It's fascinating. All the politicians in the state are fiscal conservatives, and everybody in education is doing it for the kids. And we have the state that is in the worst financial condition of any state in the nation, and we have one of the worst public school systems in the Western Hemisphere in CPS. Boy, I tell you what.
Where are we getting the money, though?
Thank goodness they're not doing it for something other than the kids, and that we've got a bunch of fiscal conservatives running around, because sans that, boy, we'd really be in a pickle.
Yeah, well, where are they getting the money? Because
they don't have the money.
Arguing over there's no money that there's no there. What about the TIF funds?
CPS TIF funds.
They keep saying tap into the TIF funds.
The TIF.
I got your TIFs right here. Hey, that was funny.
We're talking about tens of billions of dollars in unfunded pension liabilities alone. Not to mention the cost curve into the future with this agreement, at least as outlined by Karen Lewis. The TIF funds have, I don't know, $500 million in it, less. What are you talking about? These are unserious people who are lying to you, and people don't do any investigating. So they repeat whatever they hear from some political hack or union boss. I repeat myself. Oh, what about TIF funds? Yeah, what about them? What else you got? Because you're about 98% short of where you need to be after your big idea. Oh, okay. Graduated state income tax? Okay, great. This is at least where Karen Lewis and CPS is honest, and Tiny Dancer and Tiny Dancer's Toady Forrest and the whole political class in this state is not. Graduate income tax, yes. City income tax, sure. LaSalle Street tax, increasing the property taxes, fine. Increasing the sales tax, anything that you want to tax or any existing tax that you want to increase or graduate, they're on board for, and they've made that clear. We've talked to Jesse Sharkey and we've talked to Karen Lewis before on the topic. They're honest about it. They are full-on redistributionists, and there is not enough punishment you can impose on people in this state in terms of tax burden, the state where you already have the fifth highest tax burden and the highest property tax burden in the country. They're fine. The people you should really be upset with, not Karen Lewis, not even the unbelievably frightening notion that 28,000 teachers look at her and say, that's my leader, but the political class that lies to you, and you buy it, and you say reelect, especially you people in the suburbs that don't even live in Chicago, and you buy it from these Democrat hacks that are populated all over suburban Cook County and the collars that say things like, what about the TIF funds, and what about this, and what about that, and somebody's stealing from our public schools, and why aren't we rating the public schools a blank check? Because I'm pro-education, I'm doing it for the kids. What are you doing it for? And you buy it year after year after year, and then you look around, what's going on? How come kids aren't getting educated at exorbitant prices? Well, look at my property taxes. Yeah, right. You have been in the driver's seat, particularly suburban families in this state, outside the city. You have been in the driver's seat. And every suburban family in suburban Cook and the collars who voted for Democrats is disproportionately responsible for what we have and what CPS is, which is a junk-rated, financially, junk-producing, horrific public school system that steals children's futures from them, disproportionately minorities. It is a discriminatory, racist system that Bill Bennett famously said when he was Secretary of Education, the Ku Klux Klan could not have designed a system more destructive to minority children than CPS. Bennett said that 25 years ago.
Really?
And it's more true today than it ever was.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today we're going to have some sun and a shower around into the early afternoon, a high of 72 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low in the upper 50s. And for Wednesday, it's going to be breezy. A shower in the morning, then some rain and possible thunderstorm, a high of 69. Let's get the travel times. How's that overnight road work going? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Good news. The overnight work is gone. No more delays to report on the Kennedy or the Adams Tollway. I-90, things are looking good again, at least for now. We're not seeing any delays, with that work having cleared about 25 minutes ago. We are seeing delays now on the inbound side of I-57. Delays start at 107th, 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 18, with the delay starting around the Stony Island feeder. The inbound Ryan has 2 minutes worth of delays coming into downtown. Indiana Toll Road westbound, it's heavy from the Portage exit to 94. That's ongoing work in the left lane. On the outbound Eisenhower at St. Charles, just had a crash reported. The car hit the walls. Prepare to slow down approaching St. Charles. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America, Automated Systems Incorporated, and by Best Dental Group.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so...
is it like 95 or 100 degrees in here?
You know, we didn't get to... It's a little balmy.
I mean, we're going to have to start taking up the sweatshirts. Jesus.
Okay, take it easy. Let's open a door before this show goes blue.
Or we can open a door.
Yeah, could always do that. It's interesting where your mind went first, though.
I was reading a story about Ken Bone, but that's later.
Yes.
That's later.
We didn't get the chance yesterday because we were so obsessed about the debate. We never got the response in terms of who went to Friday night's Cubs game, Peyton or Eli. Who was the lucky winner?
It was Eli, my youngest. Oh, it was so cute. They did the water bottle challenge flip, and he got 3 out of 5 before his brother did, so I took him to the game. And it was fun. It was such a beautiful night. We sat in a great section with wonderful Cub fans and had the time of our lives. Saw great pitching.
Send me a postcard.
Game. I was going to, Dan. It's going to Facebook you live, but they jammed all the signals.
And you're not going to, right, of course, and you're not going to...
I don't know. I haven't decided, and I don't know what to do.
How do you not go to Game 4? You have
free ticket to a ballpark I've never been to, which is called AT&T.
In San Fran. Obviously, you're flying private because that's the only way you travel.
No, I fly public, but I take a red-eye back, and I'd get in at 4:30 tomorrow morning.
Perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. How do you not do that?
I'd actually be early for work if I got here.
Exactly. Those girls, you know, they'll understand. You know, part of life.
You think so? I don't know. 312-642-5600. This
isn't a plebiscite. I'm telling you what to do.
Well,
I don't care what our listeners have to say. This is the answer.
Oh, okay. The answer.
Yeah, that's right. And so just look, tell them, you know, this life is full of disappointments, and here's one. Coach ain't going to be at this game.
So coach yourself.
So cinch it up and hunker down and do me proud while I'm away.
But here's the deal. If I do that, then the parents are going to get in and coach, and then I'll never get control back. Then if they win, it'll just be chaos.
How do you not have an assistant coach or player coach?
A player coach?
Yeah.
Because these girls are in 5th and 6th grade.
It's time they grew up. You know?
You have 5 hours. Now grow up and learn the defense and the offense. Okay?
That's Dan Proft's parenting tip for today.
Maybe this is why.
If you have a 5th grade girl at home, tell her to grow up. Sharon in Itasca, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. You know, the people I feel sorry for in this state are those like myself who have a small business who really can't afford to hire anybody to help them out. It's between a rock and a hard place when you decide or you realize that you're trading dollars when you do. And then the CPS union gives their people a raise. They are the most overpaid entity that I've ever heard of. And it's not that I don't respect or wish to respect teachers or want well-paid ones, but it's really not about the education of the kids. And when I have a relative of mine online saying that Karen Lewis got her something, I immediately wanted to ask, what did she get you at the expense of everyone else? And when you say you don't like charter schools because you're stuck with the dregs, who are the dregs? And if I had a son or daughter in school, I'd want to know what teacher said that, because I'll tell you something, it would take every bit of self-control I would have not to connect my fist with his or her nose.
Okay, all right, Sharon. I like your feisty this morning. Yeah, thanks for the call, Sharon. I mean,
we pick up what you're laying down.
I do.
Yeah.
I like it. And by the way, CPS teachers on a cost per living basis, Chicago compared to, say, New York, highest paid teachers in the country before this contract, whatever it turns out to be. Here's the other thing. The arrogance of the teachers union and the politicians that are in their pocket and or afraid of them, and all the city council members that are in their pocket and or afraid of them, and oppose systemic reform of CPS and other failing school systems, like, for example, introducing choice into the system, competition. Isn't it interesting that they believe in choice for themselves? They believe in choice for those with the resources that provide choice. So they're going to make the choice for their children, and they're also going to make the choice for your children because they know better for your children than you do. So they get the choice for themselves and their children, and they reserve the right to make the choice for your family and your children. Does that bother you at all? Apparently not.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Wednesday, October 12th. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar Wednesday, October 12th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
AM 560, The Answer.
You need to go to that San Fran game because little Theo Epstein, little baby, needs a security detail around him. He needs your muscle there.
Can I get some muscle over here? Well, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Does Paul Ryan need Donald Trump more than Donald Trump needs Paul Ryan at 5:38?
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Students and teachers in Chicago back in class this morning after CTU and the nation's third largest district avert a strike with a late-night tentative contract agreement.
It's 22 months of uncertainty that I think is a relief for the entire city.
The four-year proposal includes a cost of living increase in the third and fourth year and still must be approved by the union's House of Delegates. San Francisco Giants still alive in the NLDS. Joe Panik's drive off the wall scores the winning run in the bottom of the 13th. Giants beat the Cubs 6-5 in what Joe Madden calls a thrilling game.
Good baseball game. That's my takeaway. I think that both sides should be somewhat exhilarated. Obviously, they win, so they're going to feel a bit better about it, but there's nothing on our side to be ashamed of. I was really proud of our kids, man.
Chicago still leads that best of 5, 2-1. Samsung says more quality problems for the Galaxy Note 7. They have halted production on the entire line. Samsung still not saying exactly what the problem is. Rescue workers saved some 1,500 North Carolina residents from flooding yesterday. They'll be back on the job this morning. The toll of Hurricane Matthew flooding has left 12 dead, others missing. House Speaker Paul Ryan says he's going to focus his energy on making sure Hillary Clinton does not get a blank check with a Democratic Congress. Ryan said he's not going to lift a finger to help fellow Republican Donald Trump. Trump responded last night.
You have people that can't fix the budget, but then they start talking about their nominee, but they can't fix the budget. Isn't it really sad that we don't have stronger leadership on both sides?
Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus telling party bosses nothing has changed in terms of the RNC's support for Trump. A bus driver is accused of striking a 4-year-old special needs child in Orland Park. Linda Bell has been charged with a felony count of aggravated battery to a child. Authorities say a third person has died from injuries from an August fire at a home on Chicago's South Side. From August, that has been ruled arson. And Chicago, not the only major district in the state to get a new contract with teachers. Peoria teachers will get a new contract. San Francisco again beat the Cubs 6-5 in 13. Other baseball last night. Indians sweep out Boston with a 4-3 win. They move on to face Toronto. And last night in the NLDS, it was Washington over the Dodgers, 8-3. The news service of Subway. Try the new thick-cut autumn-carved turkey sandwich from Subway, featuring oven-roasted carved turkey served with new sweet cranberry mustard sauce and sliced cheddar cheese on a freshly baked 9-grain wheat bread. Get into Subway and try it today. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America, Automated Systems Incorporated, and by Best Dental Group.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In South Barrington, northbound Barrington Road is closed from Hassel to Studio. That's right at the Adams Tollway I-90. That's due to a car fire. The Adams Tollway itself is fine after overnight road work cleared. We're not seeing any delays on the Edens or the Kennedy right now. On the Eisenhower, there's a crash outbound at St. Charles. It's causing a mild delay inbound from North Avenue to St. Charles. An outbound stop and go for the Tri-State. It's about a 5-minute delay. That left lane blocked at St. Charles. Stevenson has a 2-minute delay Harlem to Cicero with Orion. Now 19 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Bishop 425. Traffic is a service of account temps. The 2017 salary guide is here. Check it out for instant access to the up-to-date salary forecast for more than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. Visit them at accounttemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, some sun with a shower around. We'll sneak that into the early afternoon. High 72, partly cloudy, and 57 overnight. 56 at O'Hare. It is 61 along the lakefront. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the question is, how do you react to the mutiny on the SS Trump? Many Republican incumbent legislators, a raft of former Republican congressmen, all suggesting that they will not endorse Trump, or they've rescinded their endorsement of Trump, or that saying that Trump, going so far as to say Trump should step down. And of course, despite his debate performance on Sunday night, when you make that kind of pronouncement, you can't really walk it back in for 24 hours later, so they're not. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. And at the top of the list in terms of people wanting to see what he had to say was Paul Ryan, the House Speaker, who was scheduled to campaign for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen anymore, according to Paul Ryan.
What? But that's, I don't understand. It's a non-endorsement endorsement where he says he's not going to be out stumping for votes for him or appear with him, but he's not denouncing him. He's just going to, sit this one out? I mean,
he's focused.
Talking about taking one for the team, this is when you have to step up and be the man and support Donald Trump because he's your Republican nominee. It's as if he's handing, several votes to Hillary Clinton. I don't understand. And John McCain had a Senate debate last night with his challenger and pretty much said the same thing. And what's wrong with these people? Mark Kirk, I understand. Mark Kirk has been a never-Trumper
John McCain
for a long time.
He was going to write in Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Wow. So just to be clear, you may see this as a distinction without a difference. Paul Ryan did not rescind his endorsement of Trump. Paul Ryan did not. He denounced Trump's comments. He didn't say he should withdraw from the race, as other Republicans have. And it's the reporting would give you the impression that he rescinded his endorsement. He's not supporting Trump. He didn't say that. He just said he's going to focus on a conference call with leadership for the House Republican caucus. He said he is going to focus on retaining the Republican majority in the House. That was what he said. Now, Trump didn't take too kindly to that, jumping on Twitter, of course, and tweeting, Paul Ryan should spend more time on balancing the budget, jobs, and illegal immigration and not waste his time on fighting the Republican nominee. That was Trump's tweet in response.
And last night in Pennsylvania, he mentioned Paul Ryan without saying his name, saying that the Republican Party, we kind of need a stronger leader. Next gen. Hey, can you turn up the next gen in here?
Both sides, on both sides. I mean, you have people that can't fix a budget, but then they start talking about their nominee, but they can't fix the budget. Isn't it really sad that we don't have stronger leadership on both sides? But that'll change if we win on November 8th.
So there's a couple of things that are interesting. This is from the 538 blog, Nate Silver. Ryan needs Trump more than Trump needs Ryan. Trump is more popular among Republicans right now than Ryan is. In the most recent YouGov poll, for example, Trump's net favorability rating among Republican primary voters was plus 36. Paul Ryan's just plus 16. Even more telling, Trump's very favorable rating among, again, Republican primary voters, plus 34, while Ryan's is only plus 13. Nate Silver concludes this means two things. Ryan doesn't have as much credibility among Republicans as Trump does. And if Republicans were forced to choose, they would almost certainly choose Trump over Ryan. The problem, of course, with that analysis is that Donald Trump isn't running against Paul Ryan among Republican primary voters. He's running against Hillary Clinton among a general electorate. But I suppose what you can glean from that information is the kind of consternation within the Republican Party. That's what that data tells you, number one. Number two, Paul Ryan's position on Trump will probably have marginal impact on Trump compared to all of the other controversies and challenges surrounding the Trump campaign. Like for the fact right now, at this time, 93% of Republican primary voters were with McCain and Romney in the last two cycles. And right now, 73% are with Trump.
But we're about a month away from the election. Now is not the time to be splitting hairs. And I know the Billy Bush, that audio was so offensive. And men now have to defend their wives and their children and denounce Donald Trump. That happened 11 years ago. Who cares what he did 11 years ago? In that kind of setting, in that kind of atmosphere. And if any of you have been in that atmosphere, you would realize that was just, they're trying to up each other. Yes, it was locker room talk. Or maybe it was, pre-interview talk. But I just don't believe that that's what's in Donald Trump's heart. And this whole Access Hollywood thing is making me want to vote for Donald Trump.
Oh, interesting.
Which scares me.
Will there be a backlash? Will there be a backlash feeling like Trump is being held to some
different standard,
unrealistic or different standard? I don't think so. But
I mean, the person who held this tape for 11 years, and I know that they know who they are. They did this to make money, to blackmail him down the road. To secretly videotape him is a crime, and it is wrong what they did. And then to hold it that long just shows malice and that they had a plan to make money off of this. And I'm sure that somehow maybe they got paid somehow.
Yeah, so let's two reactions to Trump. One from Mary Matlin, political operative. She famously of the bimbo eruptions characterization of Bill Clinton during the 92 campaign. Here's Mary Matlin on This Week with Clinton Foundation Zero Stephanopoulos talking about Trump versus Bill Clinton.
So here we have, this is the difference between the parties. We have a Democrat who acts with his intern in the White House and the party rallies around him. We have a Republican nominee who has a private conversation about sex he's not getting and the party abandons him.
So it's interesting to come from an establishment figure, Mary Matlin, talking about the party rallying around Bill Clinton, whereas they're abandoning Donald Trump. And there's something else. I was on the plane back yesterday because we were in St. Louis.
Must have been nice to fly back instead of that 8.5-hour drive I had.
It was very nice.
And how'd you get to the airport in St. Louis?
You dropped me off.
That's right. I'm an Uber service.
Yeah, it was very nice. Well, you make a little extra money on the side. I think I tipped you handsomely. But I was on with Trump surrogate. And Steve Cortez, who's been on the show a number of times, he was on the plane. We were talking about this, and he said, one of the things with these people jumping ship, basically they are ladies of the night in two ways. First, they get on board with Trump, even though they're not really behind him because they feel like they're pressured to do so. And then they leave Trump because they're not really behind him and they feel pressured to do so. And they're just salvaging their career on both sides.
No, whatever best for them. They're selfish.
Yeah, I thought that's
They're
a fair
not thinking
point.
about the party.
So you heard from Mary Matlin.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Establishment Republican operative, long time, of course, married to Serpent
James Garble. Honey, I'm home.
And now there's two other things, though.
Yes.
One is a member of Donald Trump's parish council, evangelical council, doing a little Catholic translation there, but a member of Donald Trump's evangelical council, James McDonald, who's the megachurch pastor at Harvest Bible Church in Rolling Meadows here, sent an email over the weekend to several members of Trump's faith council, his campaign liaison. Quote, Mr. Trump's comments released yesterday, though 10 years ago he was 60, are not just sophomoric or locker room banter. They are truly the kind of misogynistic trash that reveals a man to be lecherous and worthless, not the guy who gets politely ignored, but the guy who gets a punch in the head from worthy men who hear him talk that way about women. Also, highly respected evangelical leader Wayne Grudem penned an op-ed in townhall.com rescinding his endorsement of Donald Trump. Some may criticize me for not discovering this material earlier, and I think they're right. I did not take the time to investigate earlier allegations in detail, and I now wish I had done so. I would not have written as positively as I did about Donald Trump. Wayne Grudem calls on Donald Trump to withdraw from the election in this piece. Now,
that's not going to happen. Early voting has already started in 20-plus states, and
I understand
ballots have been printed.
I understand it's not going to happen, but here's the issue. The issue is it's not uniform in any constituency of Donald Trump's. You had, I mentioned this yesterday on the show, Tony Perkins over the weekend, Family Research Council, another respected evangelical leader, didn't walk away from Trump, basically said, look, my support for Trump was never predicated on shared values. But other evangelical leaders are. Some Republicans are sticking by him. Other Republicans are not. The problem is if you have this crack up going on internally, both within the party and within Trump's constituency, can he win? And the early indications of just looking at the national polls, even though this is a state-by-state race, of course, NBC Wall Street Journal has Hillary Clinton now up 11. NBC Wall Street Journal, among likely voters, has Clinton versus Trump has him up 14. If all four candidates, he's up 11. Just the two of them, he's up 14. She's up 14, excuse me. So there's definitely been attrition since Friday, significant attrition.
But that was before, that poll was taken after Friday, but before Sunday night's debate.
Right. And so
so people have to keep that in mind, too, because I thought Donald Trump trounced on Hillary Clinton. I thought he did a great job.
Well, and I think he won that debate, too, and I think he cauterized the wound. The question is, can he reverse the loss that he has incurred? Is the loss over? Because people are still, I think, coming to terms with what was said. Maybe have not heard it. It just, you've got a holiday weekend and so forth. That's number one. And then number two, can he still win? That's an open question. I don't know the answer to it. And I don't think anybody knows what the full fallout is going to be until you're a few days removed from this and everybody's talked it through and made their decision on which way they're leaning or going in some cases. But that's the operative question. This is not just about surviving to Election Day. This is still about winning the presidency, isn't it? We'll take your calls on this after this.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
312-642-5600 is the Turnkey.pro answer line. Your call's coming up. But first, here's your forecast. Some sun. We're going to have a shower around early this afternoon, a high of 72 degrees. And tomorrow, breezy, a shower in the morning, then some rain and a thunderstorm, a high of 69. Let's get those travel times because kids are going to school today, and so are the teachers. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Reporting to South Barrington, there's a closure of northbound Barrington Road right at I-90 due to a car fire. It's between Hassel and Studio Drive. Carroll Stream, a crash. Gary at North Avenue. River Grove on Thatcher near Arnold. The rail crossing gates are malfunctioning. Kennedy is fine inbound. Outbound, you've got a 2-minute delay. Foster to Sayre. Eden still clear. The Eisenhower, 33 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 38 after a crash at St. Charles. Stevenson, 39 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 is 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 29. It's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on how they do business differently.
It's been 20 years, and the business has changed probably 40 times in 20 years because technology changes every year, and you have to stay with it. You have to know where it's going and prognosticate where that is, and our clients really benefit from our knowledge and our experience and the way that we're reading the roadmap. We're putting them on things that are coming out in the future, and if it's not beneficial to the client, we won't be putting them on there. And a lot of people just fly by the seat of their pants. We have a director of information technology that his job is only to scout new technologies and how they can affect a small business. Every business, no matter if it's a funeral home, a manufacturer, a car dealer, whatever, we all rely on our information, and when that information isn't available, your business is shot. So our main purpose is to really do our very best to keep people up 100% of the time, to keep them backed up and make sure that they can do what they do, and we can deal with the technical stuff.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros at Turnkey so you can focus on the important things of your business. Visit turnkey.pro today.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Your area rugs and carpets take a lot of abuse. Imagine if you were walked on every day. All the dirt from pets, kids, and spills pushed into your poor rug and carpet fibers. It's a tough job being a floor covering. It's even tougher to get them cleaned properly. Get the job done right the first time. Call Matthew Klugian and Sons, awarded the best carpet and rug cleaner in Chicago. Since 1938, Matthew Klugian & Sons nationally recognized state-of-the-art cleaning plant and service center have been cleaning, repairing, and restoring area rugs and carpets to the highest quality possible. Klugian & Sons will clean and sanitize your dirty rugs like no other. They clean museum-quality rugs and will treat your rugs and carpets with the same exceptional care. Visit Matthew Klugian & Sons showroom at 1421 West Devon Avenue when you're searching for new or antique area rugs or custom carpeting. Now save 50% on deodorizing with an area rug cleaning order. Klugian & Sons. Find them online at KLUJIANrugs.com or call 773-743-1300.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all right, talking about Paul Ryan and the GOP mutiny afoot still. Trump need Paul Ryan more than Paul Ryan needs Donald Trump, or vice versa? Tony on the south side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, listen, but people got to keep in perspective. When Trump made those comments 11 years ago, he was still a Democrat. All right? So let's dispense all the craziness here. Thank you.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Yes.
He later on hijacked the Republican Party.
Yes.
And then conformed to certain values in the party.
I'm still waiting for the epiphany story. His
how
lifetime
he went
as
from pro-choice to pro-life?
No, just generally. Liberal Democrat to allegedly conservative Republican. I still haven't heard the epiphany story.
Look at the campaigns he's donated to. Anthony Weiner, Mayor Emanuel, Clinton's.
Just doing business, as he said, right. Deborah in Palatine.
Good morning. I don't condone what Trump said at all. I just don't understand how at this point somebody could be deciding whether to vote for him or Clinton, because you would have to jump ship and go on a completely different platform for people that have a completely different vision for what this country would be like.
I agree.
I don't understand.
Thanks for the call, Deborah. I agree with that. I mean, there is no intellectual or moral defense for a erstwhile Republican to vote for Hillary Clinton. Zero. I'd love to hear one, but there isn't one. So we are going to get pushback if you call in, but I'd love to have that conversation.
But please call in.
That'd be fun. And we'll get to this next hour. Michael Gerson is a good example, Washington Post columnist, former Bush speechwriter,
Mm-hmm.
He's a good example of what the country, at least the center-right part of it, is revolting against, and we'll discuss that. Scott on the west side.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Thanks for taking my call. Amy, the more I hear you speak about this Access Hollywood recording, the more I realize that you and I do see eye to eye on a lot of issues. And this is
look at this coming together.
As far as the Republicans dumping Trump, I could care less. They've been voting with the Democrats all along, and they're not really true conservative Republicans anyway. I say we throw them all out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll throw out the bumps. Thanks, Scott. And you know what? Governor Pence is standing behind Donald Trump. You know, he put to rest all those rumors that he might be leaving.
Yeah.
You know, and yesterday came clean, said, no, I'm here to stay, and I forgive him. He is about forgiveness. And I love that about Pence.
One point of order, you know, in the context of a campaign, you don't want to be in the business of throwing people out. Trump is going to need every vote he can get.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is Frank Pellegrini. 30-some years ago, I founded a company called Prairie Title, and we've been doing business with Townstone Financial for many years. Townstone is prepared. Townstone is transparent. Townstone serves the consumer. Townstone is there to make sure that the deal goes right and communicates very seamlessly with us at the closing, before the closing, and after the closing. It is a very well-oiled machine.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas. Online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Before girls' night out, my eczema flared up. Ugh, I felt like canceling. But then I tried Cortisone 10 Eczema Relief. It's specially formulated for eczema and has 1% hydrocortisone, the strongest non-prescription itch medicine for fast, lasting itch relief. It quickly stopped the itch and soothed my red, dry, flaky skin. With Cortisone 10 Eczema Relief, I was ready for girls' night out, and it was the best one ever.
Cortisone 10 Eczema Relief. Feel the heal. Use as directed. You might not know it, but fall is the perfect time to feed your lawn. So this football season, you can spend halftime eating some lukewarm bean dip, or you can head outside and run some lawn feeding routes using Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food. The conditions are ideal for grass to grow deep roots, so your lawn will be stronger come spring. So forget the room temperature dip. Get out there and pick up your bag today. Fall time is yard time with Scott's.
Here are the stories we're watching this morning. CTU reaches a tentative agreement and avoids a teacher's strike. Cubs lose to the Giants at 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The polls will open 4 weeks from today.
We have to make sure that this election is not stolen from us and is not taken away from us.
Donald Trump saying if more videos emerge, he'll keep hitting the Clintons hard over their inappropriate conduct, and he's responding to Republican critics. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave Trump tweeted that House Speaker Paul Ryan should spend time on balancing the budget, jobs, and immigration, and not waste his time fighting the Republican nominee. Ryan told rank-and-file members to focus on winning their own re-election bids just days after he said he was sickened by Trump's remarks on tape, which the candidate called locker room banter. Democrat Hillary Clinton.
That is just a really weak excuse for behaving badly.
Republican leaders are concerned they could lose control of the House and Senate because of the turmoil at the top of the GOP ticket. Dave.
Rachel Clinton will campaign today with former Vice President Al Gore in Miami. Samsung is halting production of Galaxy Note 7 phones, telling stores to stop selling them.
If you have the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, whether it's an original or the replacement, turn it off. Turn it in. Reports from around the world have started to come in of overheating and fires of the replacement devices. This after the company had recalled 2.5 million Galaxy Note 7s back in September.
That's Fox Business Network's Cheryl Casoni. Frustration in flooded out North Carolina, where the rivers keep rising. More than 1,000 people needed rescue from Lumberton when a dam gave way.
There's no food. There's nothing. There's nothing. We've lost everything. The city council wasn't prepared. Nobody was prepared for this hurricane, and now we have nowhere to go.
The storm and subsequent flooding have killed 11 people in North Carolina, 23 in the U.S., hundreds more in the devastation in Haiti. A survivor found in the middle of a disaster in China. A 3-year-old girl survived under the remains of collapsed homes, being protected by the bodies of her dead parents. At least 22 people died in that. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
61 degrees, mostly cloudy skies on WIND Chicago, 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. It is back to school for students and teachers in Chicago. In class today after the CTU and the nation's third largest district avert a strike with a late-night tentative contract agreement. The union had been prepared to hit picket lines this morning for what would have been the second major Chicago public school strike since 2012. But just before the midnight deadline, the union and CPS said it had reached a deal that includes a cost of living increase in the third and fourth year of that deal. San Francisco Giants are still alive in the NLDS as they beat the Cubs 6-5 in 13 innings at AT&T Park. Cubs skipper Joe Madden says credit the Giants for a great game.
Good baseball game. That's my takeaway. I think that both sides should be somewhat exhilarated. Obviously, they win, so they're going to feel a bit better about it. But there's nothing on our side to be ashamed. I was really proud of our kids, man.
Chicago still leads the best-of-5 matchup 2-1. Game 4 later today. Mayor Emanuel promising that the budget he's releasing today will include money for half of the new police officers he wants to hire. AM 560's David Stewart has been combing through that proposal.
Mayor Emanuel says there will be about $65 million in the budget to cover year one of his 2-year plan to hire 970 new cops. Emanuel says no general revenue tax hikes, but some new fines and fees. Among them, a 7-cent per bag tax on plastic and paper bags handed out in large stores. That's intended to do what the current plastic bag ban didn't do, get the public to carry reusable bags. Emanuel also wants to move ahead with a plan to upgrade the 311 non-emergency phone system. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A boy is in stable condition this morning, burned while riding his bike on Chicago's south side. Kids were lighting books and other objects on fire near 86th and Peoria when an 11-year-old rode through the flames. The boy's pants and the rest of his clothing then caught fire. He suffered second-degree burns. Baseball last night, we told you about San Francisco and the Cubs. Well, how about the Nationals? They whipped the Dodgers 8-3 and take a 2-1 lead in that NLDS series. ALDS, Indians move on to face Toronto in the championship series after a 3-game sweep of Boston. The news, a service of TrueCar. If you're ready to buy a new car, download the TrueCar app. Just configure the new car you want, see what others paid for it, and lock in guaranteed savings from TrueCar certified dealers. It's that easy. Save time and money and download the TrueCar app today. 6:04, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free, if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1150 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1150 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com. Code 1150.
It is 6:06. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time, and here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound Adams Tollway I-90. It's stop and go from Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. That's for the Tri-State down to the Kennedy. Delays continue to Canfield. 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 24. Eastbound Eden Spur, it's heavy past Waukegan Road, but then good at 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. And on Eisenhower, delays start at St. Charles. It's 41 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 33. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, it's fine outbound. The Ryan, looking at 23 minutes now from 95th to downtown, traffic service of account temps. The time is here now to reality check your salary expectations. Visit accounttemps.com/salary center to see up-to-date 2017 salary forecasts for more than 400 accounting and finance roles. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a shower around into the early afternoon. High today 72, partly cloudy for tonight with a low of 57. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
56 at O'Hare, 61 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The Chicago Public Schools and the Chicago Teachers Union has a tentative agreement.
If they want to release more tapes saying inappropriate things, we'll continue to talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton doing inappropriate things. There are so many of them, folks.
So if he wants to talk about what we've been doing the last 30 years, bring it on.
So here we have, this is the difference between the parties. We have a Democrat who acts with his intern in the White House and the party rallies around him. We have a Republican nominee who has a private conversation about sex he's not getting, and the party abandons him.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we're talking about the GOP crack-up that is ongoing. At least still just 72, 96 hours removed from the Trump tape. And Nancy O'Dell, who's your friend, who's the host of Entertainment Tonight.
I really love her. She is a wonderful woman, a wonderful mother, great friend. And if you met her, you would fall absolutely in love with her. She will
would
have
I have
you...
to take her furniture shopping?
Yes, but she will have you at hello.
Oh, boy. Will she complete me? She started her broadcast of Entertainment Tonight by offering a response to her name being invoked in that Trump audio that was released and reported by the Washington Post on Friday, and of course provided all of the, not all, but much of the anticipation for the debate on Sunday night. Nancy O'Dell's response to her name being mentioned by Trump and Billy Bush.
Welcome, everybody. Well, before we get going tonight, I feel that it's very important that I address you all directly. As a journalist for 26 years now, it is my job to bring you news about others rather than turning the focus on myself. But by now, I'm sure that most of you have heard the audio tape, which became national news and part of the presidential race. My name was mentioned, and unfortunately, the release of it has thrown me in the middle of the political arena of which I didn't ask to be a part. I released a statement on Saturday, and I truly mean what I said. There is no room for objectification of women, or anyone for that matter, not even in the locker room. The conversation has got to change because everybody deserves respect, no matter the gender or setting. And as a mom, well, I have to add that our kids, especially our young girls, need to know that their hard work, their achievements, their intelligence, their heart are most important, and those things will not go unnoticed. I also want to take this time now to thank you, the viewers who so graciously open your homes to Entertainment Tonight every night. I have been flooded with your messages from around the world, and I so appreciate all of your kind words. I have been reading as many as I can, and they are completely renewing my faith that we all want a better and more inclusive society.
Yeah.
So once again, I thank you all for your support.
What's your reaction to that?
It was, it's fine. It's cliche ridden, but it's perfectly gracious and fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Do you think she was a victim here?
No, and I don't think she wore that. I don't think she treated herself like a victim, which I respect. She responded to her name being invoked and
the crude comments that were made about her.
Made a general statement about the level of discourse, which is fine. So that's fine. I think she handled it well. I really don't have an issue with her.
But what about Billy Bush? His replacement for a few days is going to be none other than, are you ready? Your other favorite, Carson Daly.
It's appropriate. You replace one person with an inexplicable career with another person with an inexplicable career. Between the two of them, they could not generate enough electricity to light a light bulb. I mean, they are so dim and so boring and so vanilla. And they're infantile.
I know, but here's the thing. Billy Bush and...
That's why they do celebrity reporting. Who cares?
But this is why NBC kind of stepped in it, because they bring somebody from the celebrity world and then try to make them a credible news person by putting them on the Today Show. Billy Bush, I heard Billy Bush is the one who made sure that this tape was never destroyed.
Just a point of order.
And now it backfired on him.
You are not a credible journalist because you're on the Today Show. So
okay.
the idea that
you used to be.
Well, that's not. Maybe.
I know when morning news became what it is today. It's unbelievable.
That's why nobody watches it. I mean, yeah, you watch these morning shows when you're getting ready and so on and so forth. Okay, fine. I mean, and unfortunately, I guess actually a lot of people do watch it, and that's where they think they're informed because they listen to Matt Lauer read a teleprompter, or I don't know, Stephanopoulos read a teleprompter, Robin Roberts, or any of these fungible, goofy, personality and fact-free hosts on these shows. They're idiocy. Billy Bush is perfect for these shows.
Well,
this is for unserious people. This is moronic. So let's not bring this into journalism.
No, but these moronic people you're talking about have access to people with power, such as Donald Trump, and they can have gotcha moments, and they could secretly tape him and keep a tape for more than a decade. Well, no, so when Billy Bush was covering the Olympics
that's because Donald Trump has been part of the celebrity culture for this entire time. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump is a reality TV star, so of course they can. So what? That doesn't make either side of this discussion serious.
But he was bragging about this tape, and then it turns around and it backfired. He was bragging when he was in Rio, saying, "I've got a tape of Trump being a real dog," telling people that, and then he releases it, him and his buddy, and guess what happens? He gets in trouble. Not the man who's running for president, but he gets in trouble because of his boorish behavior and egging Trump on and agreeing with him and making lewd comments about his coworkers.
The man who's running for president didn't get in trouble. He's getting hammered. Billy Bush and Donald Trump are the same person. That's what I'm talking about. This is a bunch of 7th grade boys running around pretending to be adults. Whether it's Trump, who I guess apparently knows something about real estate development. Okay, so fine, he has a competency in one area. And Billy Bush, who can blather platitudes in front of a camera, reporting on Brad Jelena. This is who we look to. This is why. Unfortunately, we have to discuss Donald Trump because he's a candidate for president. We should offer nothing but ridicule of Billy Bush and this entire celebrity culture, the entire industry of which these phony baloney news programs are a big part. Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, whatever. I mean, I hate to
They're big money makers,
offend your boyfriend, Mario Lopez, but I mean, good grief.
He's on Extra. They're on the up and up.
These are dingbats across the board is what it is.
One time I had a very famous football coach and an anchor, a national anchor. They were wildly inappropriate. This was in 2007 at the Super Bowl, saying horrific things, dropping words you couldn't even repeat on the radio. You know what I did? I took out the tape and I showed them, and I stomped on it, and I shredded it, and I gave it to them. Here. So no one will ever have this. You have no fear of losing your job. Take the tape. And I left.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course, I could make a ton of money off that tape, what they said and what they were doing. It was awful. I'm not going to tell you who the two were, but it was two guys, and it was they were hammered. I mean, they weren't even speaking English, and the English they were speaking was so boorish and disgusting that I couldn't do it to them. So I literally took the tape out of the camera and smashed it and handed it to them.
Jeff in Arlington Heights.
Should have happened here.
Hey, Dan and Amy. Listen, this is ridiculous. Okay, Entertainment Tonight, that is a show that objectifies women. These holier-than-thou journalists, I mean, come on. Fox News would not exist if it weren't for short skirts and all the stuff that they do to objectify women. So
and Shepard Smith.
It's absurd. They're not holier than thou. These journalists, Trump should put a montage together of all these male journalists and all the comments that they make. Do Bill O'Reilly. That'd be enough.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's absurd.
Thanks for the call, Jeff.
That's a good point.
It's a great point, too, that all these celebrity shows, it's all glam. It's all women's physical appearance. That's the entire, and to a lesser extent, much lesser extent, men's physical appearance. It's all runway and red carpet nonsense. It's all objectification.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great
point.
That's
why I'm laughing that these politicians are coming forward now, being holier than thou and sticking up for their wives and their daughters, because of what Donald Trump said.
Yeah.
They've been part of the problem all along. And I don't even know if it's a problem. It's just the way that things are. Because then when you get older, ladies, they're going to stop objectifying you. It's going to, at some point in time, it's going to stop.
Well, I've got to raise the question now. Now that we've ventured into this space, I've got to ask it. I have to ask it.
These are real. Yes. What?
Oh, wow. Mine too. No.
Yeah.
Billy Bush or Carson Daly? Who's it going to be, you guys, ladies? Billy Bush or Carson Daly? Who do you want to get your lobotomized Hollywood content from?
312-642-5600.
Let's settle this right now. Tom in Schaumburg.
I was kind of hoping they would replace Billy Bush with someone just as credible like Robin Leach.
Robin Leach.
And on one other note, these Republicans currently holding office in Illinois don't seem to understand that they've got voted in by the very same people who voted for Donald Trump. I think they're the ones that ought to worry about their next election.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Kathy and Joliet.
Good morning, Dan. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, well, 80 million copies of Shades of Grey was sold in the United States, largely by women who purchased it, read it.
Yes, I
and
saw
then
that
you have all
internet meme.
these newscasts who are females on network news and the other newscasts. They're all dressed very scantily in tight-fitting clothing. And then you've got the middle-aged, 40 pounds overweight male newscasters, and it's all objectification of women. Who cares what Donald Trump said?
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Kathy. I'll tell you what.
If Candy Crowley weighed 130 pounds, she'd still be on CNN.
Well, there's a way to address this, the point that Kathy raises.
Yeah.
For those overweight men, they should be scantily clad, too, in short skirts.
I don't want to see that.
Well,
I don't want to see their hairy legs, and I don't want to see their tharms. Thigh arms. That's the word you taught me.
Tharms.
Love tharms, by the way.
I mean,
that is a greatest word ever.
If you don't want to see Ron Major's tharms or hoo-ha, then don't tune in to ABC7. Is he still there? I don't know. Did he retire? Is he dead?
It's over. Ron Major's, that era is over.
If you want to see the junk in the trunk that Dick Johnson's packing, don't turn on NBC5. I'm sorry. That's the way to make this fair and just end the conversation, don't you think?
I just think it's funny because Kathy Lee Gifford, her husband, Frank Gifford, who cheated on her a number of times, she's appalled by Billy Bush's behavior, so much so that she won't let Billy Bush throw to her show. Because, they're Today Show, hour number 17, because it keeps going at the show. The Today Show doesn't stop. So that's how she's taking a stand for women.
What about Hoda?
Hoda?
Hoda.
Hoda Cody. No.
Hoda is her name.
Yeah, so she said that
she has a name, Amy.
I know, it's Hoda Kobe. Whatever.
Just Hoda's fine, like
but
Yoda.
Kathy Lee Gifford says she has Jesus in her life and feels it's just not right.
So since we're addressing the issue of scantily clad, can I make
back to that, yes.
Another comment. There are many, many female anchors and news readers that I wish were not.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's that, too. So we could go the other way and just put a tarp over everyone.
No, we're not going to do that because that would be called catty. We're not going to take it to the low because we want to go high.
All right, we're going to go high coming up because we're going to talk about Ken Bone, Illinois hero.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, he is America's new hero. And he is getting job offers like you would not believe.
The hero we want, not necessarily the hero we need, not necessarily the hero we want.
Exactly. Ken Bone. But first, here's your forecast. Some sun today. We have a shower in the early afternoon, a high of 72 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 57. And for tomorrow, it's going to be breezy around here. A shower in the morning, then some rain and a possible thunderstorm, a high of 69. Let's get those travel times to our traffic hero. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. On the Edens Expressway, it's just a little heavy inbound 2E to the junction, but there are delays on the eastbound spur from Waukegan Road to the Edens, so allow an extra 5 minutes there. Still clear outbound. Kennedy, 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, it's 30. The Eisenhower, 45 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. There is that left lane closure now from the Circle to Wells for long-term Burns Circle interchange work. The outbound Ike, 35 minutes, post office to Thorndale. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan is 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Slow going on the eastbound Adams Tollway from the Elgin Toll to 31, Meacham to 53, and from Bussey most of the way to the Kennedy. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Alice, owner of a growing company. Our entire business depends on our phones, so I was challenged when our phone service providers struggled to deliver our calls. Missed calls means lost revenue. I heard Innovative Networks helped AM 560, so I called. They provided an innovative solution that reinforced our phone infrastructure and enhanced call flow. I truly appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing us a solution that scales as my business expands. They even replaced our outdated phone system and provided hands-on training to maximize our capabilities. Amazingly, it cost us nothing. I'm saving money and more focused on growing my business. I'm thrilled with Innovative Networks.
Follow Alice's lead and call Innovative Networks at 312-889-9090. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-889-9090 or visit go4inet.com. Are you happy with your carrier?
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Born and raised in Chicagoland, my partners and I knew this city needed a locally owned business bank. As fellow entrepreneurs, we know the challenges facing businesses, and we are invested in our customers' success. We are here to build mutually beneficial, long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We look forward to helping our customers reach their goals every day, and we are here to see them succeed. At Signature Bank, you work directly with decision makers who understand your business and can deliver on their promises.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. When purchasing a home, you could call your bank, surf the internet, or you can call me. Why me? Because in addition to my outstanding customer service, market knowledge, and low rates, I have a team of dedicated in-house underwriters, which gives me total control over the loan process. If you're purchasing a home, always compare closing costs, interest rates, and make sure your lender has in-house underwriting. If your lender doesn't underwrite their own loans, hang up and call me immediately. If you'd like to work with an experienced team of loan professionals who will always look out for your financial best interest, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License T4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
AM560, The Answer.
Boom, 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 boom. What you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run? Judgment comes for you. Judgment comes for you. What you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide?
Wow, I like this.
There's a lot of songs now about
Is
Ken
this going to be
Bone.
part of Ken Bone's Christmas album?
That's a good idea.
Ken Bone, of course, the red-clad, bespectacled questioner at the debate on Sunday night. He asked the second-to-last question about energy policy and immediately became a social media sensation.
Yeah, because people fell in love with his friendliness. He looked so likable, so cute in his little cozy red sweater. But he first was going to wear an olive suit, but that didn't work out because of the LBs.
I had a really nice olive suit that I love a great deal, and my mother would have been very proud to see me wearing on television. But apparently I've gained about 30 pounds, and when I went to get in my car the morning of the debate, I split the seat of my pants all the way open.
Yeah.
So the red sweater is plan B.
There
I'm
you
glad
go.
it worked out.
And his mother, he referenced his mother because he lives in her basement.
No, actually, he has a wife and he has a 12-year-old son.
Come on.
He has a little bone. Yeah.
No way.
He does. He is. And his son thinks it's so cool because dad's the best kind of celebrity, and that's an internet celebrity. But so he appeared yesterday on CNN. He's guess how many Twitter followers
Maybe
he
he
has.
can interview Hillary and Trump in a bathtub or something.
Guess how? That's right. He went from 7 Twitter followers, one being his grandmother, to 80,000 Twitter followers. There's a GoFundMe page now to get him that olive suit, a bigger size. The goal is $1,000. It's at $345. The Izod sweater that he was wearing has completely sold out, and it's the number one Halloween costume now. Is going to be the cozy red sweater and the khaki pants.
Dorks of the world unite, you found your leader.
Yes, but he was on last night with Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel was so cute with this little teddy bear. You can beat the baby.
Do you have any idea of how adorable you are? First, I want to say.
That's a definitive yes.
Yes, okay, good.
But he was an undecided voter, and that's why he was chosen. And he said still, even after the debate and watching the two, Hillary and Trump right in front of each other, he's still undecided.
Are you still undecided as a voter? I know that's the reason you were there in the first place.
Everybody doesn't like it that much, but I think I'm more undecided than I was before. I had to kind of put my head down while Mom and Dad were arguing over Thanksgiving dinner last night.
Are you like an indecisive person in general?
Not usually. This is an unusual political cycle. It's been so negative, and I try to really base most of my decisions on positive things, and neither of them have given me many. So Donald Trump maybe is more in line with my economic interests because I work in coal electricity.
I see.
But I would really hate for anyone's rights to be taken back. We've fought so hard to get marriage equality and rights expanded to more Americans. And I couldn't, it'd be unconscionable for me to see those taken away by a Supreme Court justice appointed by Donald Trump.
Uh-oh. Ken can't be on the show anymore.
As opposed to the Supreme Court manufacturing the right, redefining marriage out of existence, Ken. We'll stick to coal gasification, Ken.
He's from Shiloh, Illinois. He works as a plant technician.
Yeah,
Prairie State.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yes.
Hey, it's such an interesting statement because it shows how powerful culture is. He's undecided about his economic future with an industry that is threatened by with extinction from the left because he's been addled into this position on
social issues
and on morality. But I wonder when Ken came to that conclusion about those rights.
But they really had to
and
suffer.
I also wonder about his wife now.
Why? Oh, yeah, Heather.
If she exists.
No, she's there, the Mrs. Bone. But this is what they had to go through in order to be on stage with
she's not
Trump.
An operating system.
Where did you get the disposable camera? I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
I hope I can get it developed. I don't know. I might just have to keep it. But we were sequestered, basically, for 14 hours yesterday, from 8 a.m. our time until the debate was over. No electronic devices were allowed.
Okay.
Several people wasted away to nothing with no Twitter access.
I gotcha.
And they gave us the disposable cameras so we could take pictures when the debate was over.
I hope being sequestered for 14 hours didn't negatively impact his standing with his Dungeons and Dragons League.
Stop it. And real quick, an adult website has offered Ken Bone, they want to call it the Bone Zone. They've offered him $100,000 to appear in an adult movie.
I assume it'll be gay porn because he's so in touch.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
Gentlemen and Ken Bone, when it comes to your health, you know your numbers. You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone number? I know my number. Low T Center made it easy. Went to the Low T Center, took a simple blood test, and with an on-site lab, able to get my results in minutes. If you're a man over 40 and have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. In honor of Prostate Health Month, Low T Center is offering a $50 testosterone and prostate level test. So, guys, if you don't have your numbers, haven't made your deductible, or don't have insurance, you should take advantage of this offer. It's quick, easy, and you get your results in about 20 minutes. Do yourself a favor and call 630-409-4305. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. That number, 630-409-4305. Or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Talk a little bit about more of those Clinton emails that were hacked and released with Ed Morrissey from hotair.com at 6:36.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, students and teachers here in Chicago heading back to the classroom after the Chicago Teachers Union in the nation's third largest district avert a strike with a tentative late-night contract, a 4-year proposal that does include a cost of living increase in the third and fourth year. San Francisco's Giants still alive in the National League Division Series after a win over the Cubs last night at AT&T Park, 6-5 in 13 innings. Samsung Electronics says it will stop production of its Galaxy Note 7 smartphone, one day after it halted global sales of the problem devices that contain batteries that could catch fire. Hillary Clinton says she wants to double the child tax credit to increase the amount low-income families could get back in refunds. The Democrat announcing her plan yesterday, saying she's trying to help families struggling with the cost of child care. There could be higher taxes, she says, for middle-income Americans. Students at a Vermont high school will be returning to class for the first time since Tuesday, since 4 classmates and another member of that community were killed by a driver traveling the wrong way on an interstate near Duxbury. Funeral services are planned this week for a St. Louis County police officer fatally shot. St. Louis County police say services for Officer Blake Snyder began Thursday morning in Chesterfield. A funeral procession back to this state in Godfrey, Illinois. Prosecutors have charged 18-year-old Trenton Forster in that killing. A local bus driver accused of striking a 4-year-old special needs child in Orland Park. Linda Bell has been charged with 1 felony count of aggravated battery to a child. And a mother of 2 from Lombard was struck and killed Monday after pulling over to check a noise underneath her vehicle in northwest Indiana. Indiana State Police say Nika Trippi pulled her car over on a shoulder way off the road on I-65 near Fair Oaks, Indiana. When she got out of that car and closed the door, a semi-tractor trailer sideswiped her and kept on driving. Investigators are still looking for the driver of that semi. Playoff baseball, American League. Indians and Toronto in the American League Championship Series after the Tribe beat Boston last night 4-3. NLDS, Dodgers and Nationals, and Washington was an 8-3 winner. The news, a service of TrueCar. If you're ready to buy a new car, download the TrueCar app. Just configure the new car you want, see what others paid for it, and lock in guaranteed savings from TrueCar certified dealers. It's that easy. Save time, save money, and download the TrueCar app today. 6:36 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains what a Trump win means.
Do you realize that a victory for Donald Trump is a defeat for the New York Times? Beating Hillary means you're going to beat NBC? I don't think I've ever wanted a presidential candidate to win as badly as I want Donald Trump to win, if for no other reason than it's going to wipe the smirks off so many people.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy 1 cabinet and get 1 free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Like it's very heavy on the northbound tri-state this morning from 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and then also from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, eastbound Adams Tollway, the delays are from the Elgin Toll to 31, Barrington Road to 53. That's jammed from the tri-state to the Kennedy, which runs 38 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 41. The Edens, 30 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 22. The Eisenhower, 56 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 41 minutes. The Stevenson is 53 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45. Bryan, 25 minutes. 95th to the Loop. Traffic service of TrueCar. If you're ready to buy a new car, download the TrueCar app. Just configure the new car you want, see what others paid for it, and lock in guaranteed savings from TrueCar certified dealers. It's that easy. Save time and save money. Download the TrueCar app today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Some sunshine early in the day, then showers around later in the afternoon, high 72. 58 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on through summer storms.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hillary has got a new ad up featuring a prominent Republican.
Republican?
This to continue to advance the GOP crack-up that is ongoing to various extents. Some Republicans fleeing the bounty, as it were. Here's Hillary's ad.
I cast my first vote for president as a college kid at the University of Iowa. I voted Republican then, and I have ever since. But I cannot vote for Donald Trump. When I see him bullying people, trying to divide us, that's not the kind of country I want my kids to grow up in. So I'm putting party aside and voting for Hillary Clinton. I don't agree with Hillary on everything, but I know she has the judgment and the experience, and she knows you need to bring people together to get things done.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
Yeah. Turns out that guy's a Democrat donor.
Oh.
But okay. But it's an interesting play. If you want to foment discord within your opponent's camp, and that's in part what she's trying to do, however disingenuous that ad is. Well, for more on that discord and the last 4 weeks of this campaign, we're happy to be joined again by Ed Morrissey. He, senior editor at hotair.com, author of the book Going Red. Ed, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me on today.
Well, since we're talking about Hillary's new ad, why don't we stick on Hillary for a minute? I know everybody wants to talk about Trump in that audio, but let's talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton's emails, because there's WikiLeaks continues to release emails, John Podesta emails that were hacked, and they've got all kinds of fun stuff in there, including, for example, Hillary suggesting that Saudi Arabia and Qatar are funding ISIS, which is an interesting thing for her to concede, considering, for example, Qatar has given between $1 and $5 million to the Clinton Foundation, and Saudi Arabia has donated upwards of $25 million to her foundation. So if they're funding ISIS and she's aware of this, why would she be accepting millions of dollars from those two countries?
Well, that's a good question, and not having her spreadsheets, in front of us from the Clinton Foundation, it's unclear as to who's funding ISIS within Saudi Arabia, and we'll get to Qatar in a second, and who's funding her within Saudi Arabia. The royal family is pretty large in Saudi Arabia, and it's been pretty well known that there are radical elements within the royal family, as well as very conservative elements within the royal family that oppose the radicals, and the money leaks out of everywhere within the royal family, and that was one of the issues in the lawsuit, in that lawsuit bill, the bill that allowed people to file suit against Saudi Arabia, is that technically all of the royal family is the government, right? But there's some suspicion that some of the people in the royal government were funding Al Qaeda and helping these attackers, these 9/11 attackers, and that's the reason why everybody wanted to take a look at 28 pages. That's the reason why everybody wanted to allow the victims of 9/11 to take Saudi Arabian government to court, is perhaps to get some clarity on this. And so I guess it doesn't surprise me. The problem with the Hillary Clinton Foundation goes beyond Saudi Arabia and Qatar, though. It's the fact that she was doing business with these governments through the foundation, and her husband was getting paid for giving speeches at the same time that she was Secretary of State. And it goes beyond Saudi Arabia, it goes beyond Qatar. It's just the fact that there was very clearly influence peddling going on, and the Clinton Foundation was one of those channels, and Bill Clinton was the other channel.
Well, that's right, but it seems to me this is, since we've got new information per these emails that were hacked and leaked by WikiLeaks, boy, this is an issue that Donald Trump wants to re-raise with additional specificity. I'd like to hear, you've given probably as good an answer as Hillary is going to be able to give. I'd love to hear Hillary's answer on topic to taking millions of dollars from these countries that you acknowledge were in some form or fashion funding radical Islamic terrorism. It's a good debate topic,
Absolutely. Great debate topic. And don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Hillary Clinton. This is a massive...
No, I understand.
This is a massively corrupt structure. But when you're talking about Saudi Arabia, there's a whole lot of nuance in Saudi Arabia. Now, Qatar is a different issue. Qatar is kind of like Casablanca in a way, right? It's this den of thieves and oil emirs who are funding everybody. And this is a much narrower group of people over in Qatar. And we're still doing business with them. The U.S. government's still doing business with them, even though we know all that's going on, because they're still willing to do business with us. And so this is a whole different sort of area of corruption, and the fact that the Clinton Foundation is doing business with them is, first off, it's a parallel to the U.S. government doing it, but secondly, it just shows how much more corrupt that the Clinton Foundation is.
And what have we learned about the emails in regards to her leaked speech transcripts, the speeches that she gave on Wall Street?
Well, it's interesting because, it's very, very clear that she's speaking out of both sides of her mouth. Now, what you hear from the speeches to Wall Street entities that have leaked out through these WikiLeaks things is basically what you would have expected to hear from Hillary Clinton prior to her running in this cycle, which is that, she wants to maintain the institutions. She thinks the institutions are capable of policing themselves, and the reason why she thinks that is because they're paying her to give her speeches. And so she's telling them what they want to hear, right? And so when she started running for office in this, populist, progressive populism over on the Democratic side, this populist environment, all of a sudden Wall Street's evil and must be destroyed, and because she's telling them what they want to hear.
Ed, you're
very disingenuous.
You're so naive, Ed. Let me explain politics to you. There's this thing called a public position, and then there's this thing called a private position, and never the two shall meet, just like Abe Lincoln did.
No, but these are public positions. She's actually out in public taking these positions when she is giving these speeches. Now, she was able to exercise a level of control that is almost unprecedented over public speeches prior to her running for office, because she clearly understood that these public positions that she took were going to give her problems later on down the road. But those were public statements, regardless of whether or not they came out or not. Those were public statements. That wasn't a private conversation that she was having on stage for $250,000 a pop. And the reason why she exercised so much control over the publication of this material was because she knew it was going to cause her problems.
The response from some who I term Vichy Republicans to Donald Trump's the audio that was released on Friday, but even the debate, I'm going to go to the debate because it's one thing to respond with appropriate condemnation about the content of those audio tapes from Access Hollywood, whatever. It's another thing to overstate the case from the debate. And this was what annoys me about neocons like Michael Gerson writing in the Washington Post about how appalling Trump's debate performance was to him and to Eastern establishment elites like himself. He writes, among other things, do we really want a president who views the rule of law as a means to imprison his opposition? That's not what he said, and that's not what he's doing.
No, it was an offhand comment. I mean, it was an offhand comment. I mean, basically, she was saying that's why you'll never be president, and he says, good thing because you'd be in jail. I mean, that's a game of the dozens. That's a your mama moment. It was meaningless.
Well, but also too. It was kind of a highlight moment because of the quip and the back and forth and being off the cuff. But the other thing that Donald Trump said, because other people have responded to this too. This is like Banana Republic. He wants to imprison people who disagree with him. That's not what he said. What he said in terms of a policy is, I'm going to appoint a special prosecutor to re-examine this case, because he doesn't have faith in the decision the FBI or the Department of Justice made. And, by the way, there's hundreds of millions of Americans who agree with him. So, when you have Gerson and even Krauthammer and others overstate the case against Trump, it really undermines their kind of moral standing, in my view.
Well, I don't know if it undermines their moral standing, but I think that they're just misjudging the situation. And I think it's because they have just decided that Donald Trump is unacceptable, that they misstated the position. And look, I don't think that there's anything necessarily disqualifying about the idea of appointing a special prosecutor. I hate special prosecutors, but I've been saying that this case is one of the narrow number of cases that probably require it, and I've been saying that for months. And we see what happens when you don't have that. Right? You have the FBI basically corrupting itself, trying to get out of the way of a presidential election. And that's not their role. Their role is to investigate crimes and to recommend charges when crimes have been committed. And clearly they didn't want to do that. And these are the circumstances that call for a special prosecutor. I don't understand why that's all that controversial. We certainly have had Republican administrations probed by succeeding Democratic administrations in the past, and in part that's one of the reasons why voters might want to replace a Democratic administration with a Republican administration, especially if they have the impression that the Democratic administration was covering up crimes.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's Ed Morrissey, senior editor for HotAir.com, author of the book Going Red. Ed, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Despite controversy, ratings down for Sunday's debate. Teamsters giving a thumbs up to Sikorsky helicopters. Those stories are next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA or 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again if the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? Well, with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993 and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. There is no obligation. It's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993.
Economic reports released this morning will include a small business index, an update on labor market conditions, and the latest sales figures for chain stores and discount outlets. The television ratings for Sunday night's second Donald Trump-Hillary Clinton debate dropped sharply. The first encounter between the two drew 84 million viewers. Sunday's rematch failed to ignite audiences. 2,000 Teamsters Union members in Connecticut have approved a deal that keeps Sikorsky Aircraft manufacturing Navy helicopters for at least the next 16 years. A federal court has approved continuing construction of part of the four-state Dakota Access Pipeline, even as Sioux Indians continue their appeal and demonstrations against it. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
I'm Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. In 2008 and 2012, millions of Americans confused the use of proper syntax with smarts. Policy judgment was subordinated to style. The results? 400,000 dead in Syria and a refugee crisis in the aftermath. 4 dead Americans in Benghazi. A political Islamist terrorist organization that graduated from the JV team to Christian genocide in the Middle East and domestic carnage in Orlando and San Bernardino. A wildly unpopular, unfinanceable, and even crazy, in the words of Bill Clinton, backdoor government takeover of health insurance. And 2 left-wing Supreme Court justices who find constitutional penumbras and emanations to justify every big government gambit and freedom-constricting folly. It would be unwise to again make complete sentences versus staccato speech the determinative dichotomy for the presidency. Trump's imprecision with language is frustrating, but Trump is directionally correct on issues ranging from immigration to military readiness to tax reform, and his advisors have nicely filled in the details. Hillary lies in complete sentences to recast 30 years of failed policies and catastrophic judgments that have inflicted untold human suffering, all while she has leveraged our government for her personal gain. Your choice, America.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you ready for this? None other than liberal Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, she's still alive.
And she's awake
I'm sorry.
for this interview with Katie Couric.
Well, that's
She's
remember
not
when
always.
she fell asleep during the State of the Union?
She has a little nip in the afternoon and it puts her right to bed. She was asked about Colin Kaepernick and these athletes that are protesting the anthem. And here's her surprising response.
Justice Ginsburg, how do you feel about San Francisco 49ers player Colin Kaepernick and other NFL players who have basically refused to stand for the national anthem?
What do I think? I think it's really dumb of them. Would I arrest them for doing it? No. I think it's dumb and disrespectful. I would have the same answer if you asked me about flag burning. I said, I think it's a terrible thing to do, but I wouldn't lock a person up for doing it.
You can't.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's it's shocking.
Is she sick?
I think that was Mel Brooks doing Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm pretty sure.
I like what she said, but she doesn't sound well. How old is she?
She's like 112, but she
wants Botox then, yes.
She doesn't sound well, but she's thinking well on this score.
She is.
It just shows you there's, always hope for someone to convert to your side. Come over to our side, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. There's still time.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I want you to know that Steve Reich will be the best representative for McHenry County. Steve knows you have to walk on both sides of the road, and he sees rising property taxes driving out homeowners who thought they'd get help. Well, Steve Reich will fight for tax relief that will also grow the local economy. And I know Steve Reich will have a strong voice for the farmers. Steve will work for you and everybody in McHenry County. Elect Steve Reich for state representative in the 63rd District.
Paid for by citizens to elect Stephen Reich.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com and enter promo code 3939. That's froyofranchising.com, promo code 3939.
Business owners and managers, you likely aren't getting the most out of your phone system, and whether you realize it or not, you could be losing revenue. At AM 560, Innovative Networks is more than a client. They're also a company we work with and highly recommend. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing network solutions that scale with our business. And amazingly, they can replace your outdated phone system at no cost. Plus, provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. Your bottom line will improve, and you'll be better equipped to focus on growing your business. We're thrilled with Innovative Networks and suggest you call them at 312-889-9090. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-889-9090 or visit go4inet.com. That website, go4inet.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Does your vote for president impact your vote down ballot? We'll take your calls at 707.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is the one and only Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. CTU reaches a tentative agreement and a strike avoided in the Chicago public schools. Cubs lose Game 3 to the Giants in 13 innings. Mayor Emanuel to release his 2017 budget today. It includes a big new tax. Orland Park bus driver is accused of slapping a special needs student. Governor Rauner calls Donald Trump's comments disgusting. Blackhawks open up the season tomorrow. Monday Night Football, the Bucks sink the Panthers. Sun in your forecast today in the morning with some showers this afternoon. WINT Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Samsung doesn't want any more of its Galaxy Note 7 phones catching fire.
Pulled it up and I saw smoke and I threw it on the floor.
She was burned in Minnesota. Now Samsung says don't use them and it'll stop making them. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Dave, first Samsung stopped global sales of the Galaxy Note 7 smartphone. Now it's stopping production of them permanently. The Note 7 was initially recalled, then shipped replacements that said were safer, but there were reports of some of those catching fire too. Samsung says it will either give customers a full refund at original price or replace the Note 7 with any other model of Samsung phone and give refunds for the difference in price along with a $45 voucher, Dave.
Tanya, Donald Trump says if anyone releases more video of him saying anything inappropriate, he'll keep talking about the Clintons doing inappropriate things.
I was getting beaten up for 72 hours on all the networks for inappropriate words from 12 years ago. Locker room talk.
He'll campaign in Texas today, then Florida, where Hillary Clinton will be joined by an old friend.
Al Gore will make his first appearance out on the campaign trail this cycle, joining Hillary Clinton here in Miami. Gore is expected to hit the issue of climate change hard. He's also a reminder to Democrats about the danger of third-party candidates after losing the 2000 election.
Fox's Mike Emanuel in Miami. There's a lot of grief after Hurricane Matthew flooded areas of North Carolina.
I'm out of business and bankrupt.
He's a repairman who lost everything in Cumberland County. Rivers keep rising. Boats and helicopters will go back out today looking for more victims. More than 1,000 people have needed water rescues. Matthew's blamed for at least 23 U.S. deaths, hundreds more in Haiti. Some kids in Chicago are just waking up to get ready for school after a teacher strike was averted last night.
Our students need us in the classroom, but I really appreciate the support from all the parents.
She teaches first grade in Chicago. The tentative contract ends a year of negotiations over pay and pensions. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are mostly cloudy this early morning, 58 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Students and teachers are heading back to class today after the CTU struck a late-night bargain and averted a strike against the nation's third largest school district. Chicago Teachers Union President Karen Lewis said late last night the tentative deal is not perfect, but it's good for teachers and the city.
What we ended up with is something that's good for kids, it's good for clinicians, it's good for paraprofessionals, for teachers, for the community, and we're very pleased that we were able to come to this.
The four-year proposal includes a cost of living increase in the third and fourth year. It still must be approved by the union's House of Delegates. Giants still alive in the NLDS. They beat the Cubs in 13 innings, 6-5 at AT&T Park. Cubs third baseman Chris Bryant had a home run in the loss.
You know, I just thought it was a great effort from everybody, and you can't win them all, and this is a good learning experience, and we'll learn from it. But good to be in an atmosphere like this and in an away city, so a lot to take from this game.
Game 4 later today, and the Cubs still lead that best-of-5 matchup 2-1. Mayor Emanuel is promising that the budget that he's releasing today will include at least half of the money for new police officers that he wants to hire. A bus driver is accused of striking a 4-year-old special needs child in Orland Park. Linda Bell has been charged with a felony count of aggravated battery to a child. 3 teens are hospitalized following a shooting on Chicago's South Side. It happened in an alley near 70th Place and Damon. Governor Rauner says Donald Trump's leaked tape is disgusting. He spoke about the controversy yesterday before the Columbus Day Parade kicked off in downtown Chicago, calling the comments appalling but stopped short, saying he would not vote for Donald Trump. The rest of the night in baseball saw the Indians sweep out Boston with a 4-3 win. Nationals beat the Dodgers 8-3 in that NLDS series. Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay over the Panthers 17-14. The news, a service of Accountemps. Do you know what you should be making? Visit accountemps.com/salary center to see salaries for more than 400 accounting and finance salaries where you live. It's your go-to source for accounting and finance salary information. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:04, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Air Comfort, the Ayn Rand Institute, and by healthinsurancementors.com.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free, if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1150 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1150 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com. Code 1150.
7:06. Let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, delays start around Dempster. It's 28 minutes. Light Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Kennedy, 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 22 from Montrose, 18 on the Express. Outbound 53 minutes to the airport, and 190 is backed up. The crash at River Road. Eisenhower, 58 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 35 from Manheim. Outbound 41 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 47 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 45 minutes to 3:55. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown, northbound Tri-State jammed. Harlem, much of the way to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow from the Elgin Toll to 31, Beverly to Bartlett, Roselle to 53, Veterans Memorial delays, Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt, Army Trail to 290, westbound Indiana Toll Road stop and go from the Portage exit to 94. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a shower around into the early parts of the afternoon. High 72, then turning out partly cloudy for tonight with a low 57. Breezy tomorrow with a morning shower, then occasional rain and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Otherwise mainly cloudy, high 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently we have 56 at O'Hare, 61 along the lake. Next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The Chicago Public Schools and the Chicago Teachers Union has a tentative agreement.
If they want to release more tapes saying inappropriate things, we'll continue to talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton doing inappropriate things. There are so many of them, folks.
So if he wants to talk about what we've been doing the last 30 years, bring it on.
So here we have, this is the difference between the parties. We have a Democrat who acts with his intern in the White House and the party rallies around him. We have a Republican nominee who has a private conversation about sex he's not getting, and the party abandons him.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, you heard Mary Matlin at the top. That was Mary Matlin on Sunday with Clinton Foundation Zero Stephanopoulos about the reaction to the Trump audio. A number of Republicans, office holders, rescinded their endorsement, have called for Trump to resign from the campaign, withdraw from the campaign. There is a number of articles out yesterday into today. The GOP meltdown, the GOP crack up, GOP tumbles towards anarchy. It's every person for himself.
Last straw for GOP members.
Good piece by James Toronto we talked to yesterday on the show in the Wall Street Journal, the GOP meltdown. And right now, according to some recent polling, post-Friday, post-debate polling, 73% of self-identified Republicans voting for Donald Trump, sticking with Donald Trump. At this time, in the previous two election cycles, with Romney and McCain as the nominee, that number was 93% of self-identified Republicans. That 20% matters.
Well,
it really matters, and it's reflected in the polling that we see coming out, not just among Republican primary voters, but in terms of Hillary expanding her lead both in important swing states for Trump, Pennsylvania, and nationally.
Well, what's important to me is Governor Mike Pence. He's sticking with him. He said so. He's the man.
You know, I'll always keep my conversation with Donald Trump and my family private, but it's absolutely false to suggest that at any point in time we consider dropping off this ticket. It's the greatest honor of my life to have been nominated by my party to be the next vice president of the United States of America. Look, politics is a very tough business. I get that. This is my first time, Allison, at the national level. The fact is that, as I said on Saturday, I couldn't condone, I couldn't defend those remarks. I encouraged Donald Trump on Friday to apologize for them. He did. He expressed his personal remorse, but I also encouraged him Saturday to take that to the American people, to show his heart. And when he said on national television he wasn't proud of it, he was embarrassed by it, I do believe that he expressed himself straight from his heart to the American people.
Well, then why are other Republicans turning their backs on Donald Trump?
Well, because for the same reason some Republicans turned their fronts toward Donald Trump when they ultimately signed on, is because they thought it was in their interest and the party's interest to do so. Now they think the opposite, and so it's a political decision. Now, with respect to some who have withdrawn their support from Trump, particularly evangelical leaders, I guess it's a principled decision. Wayne Grudem, a respected evangelical leader, withdrawing his support, calling on Trump to resign from the race. This is somebody who had endorsed Trump and received a lot of heat for doing so. James McDonald, who heads up the Harvest Bible Church here in Rolling Meadows, mega church here, said Donald Trump's comments reflect a lecherous and worthless man. Also withdrawing his support. He was part of Trump's evangelical council. And so the question is the 73% versus the 93%. 72 hours later, after what we heard on Friday and what you saw on Sunday night, where are you? Are you still with Trump? Or are you moved to a neutral position? Or have you moved even all the way over to Hillary Clinton because you find Trump particularly repugnant, as some Republicans have suggested? The kind of some of the neocons that write at the Weekly Standard. And we'll talk to one, Mark Hemingway, at the bottom of the hour. Michael Gerson, writing in the Washington Post, former George W. Bush speechwriter, who said wrote a piece, politician in a party deserving of contempt. He writes, "This is what Republicans get for devaluing the calling of public service. When you have contempt for politics, you often get a politics worthy of contempt." I disagree with that, even though I respect his parallel structure in that little quip. But public service and the devaluation. I say again that Trump and Clinton, this dead end that we have come to, is after years of making wrong turns along major thoroughfares that has brought us to this point. Trump and Clinton effects of the last half a century, not the causes of the cultural degradation of America. Now, the flip side, just in terms of the establishment, you have campaign with too broad a brush. Reince Priebus standing behind Trump.
He's in full coordination, yep.
So whatever you want to say about the RNC and they're not being as supportive as they want, through it all, Reince Priebus has done his job and stood behind Trump, and I think that is worth noting. And then Paul Ryan, of course, that was the big news yesterday, not going to campaign with Trump, not opposing him, condemning the rhetoric, focusing on controlling the House.
And Donald Trump last night in Pennsylvania responded. He didn't say his name, but we know who he's talking about.
Isn't it too bad that we don't have stronger leadership on both sides? On both sides. You have people that can't fix a budget, but then they start talking about their nominee, but they can't fix the budget. Isn't it really sad that we don't have stronger leadership on both sides? But that'll change if we win on November 8th.
I don't know why we want stronger leadership on our opponent's side. You want weaker leadership with your opponent. Just a point of order. The best part of his rally, though, in Pennsylvania.
Oh, with Widow Me?
The Trump mini-me.
Mini-me, you complete me, mini-me.
There was a little boy dressed up like Donald Trump.
With a wig and everything.
And they brought up on stage, and Donald Trump proceeded to interrogate him. No, it was pretty cute.
Where's your daddy? Oh. And your mommy, right? Do you want to go back? Do you want to go back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Trump.
That was pretty funny.
So that was his Halloween costume already picked up.
That was a light moment. Then there are few and far between.
Shows the more human side of Donald Trump.
The question I have, though, getting beyond even Paul Ryan and Donald Trump, that dichotomy, because and if there's a good piece at 538 blog, Nate Silver's blog, about the relative popularity among self-identified Republican primary voters between Trump and Paul Ryan. Trump significantly more popular, significantly higher favorables, as you would expect a presidential nominee to have, particularly when the speaker has been perceived to be antagonistic towards the presidential nominee. But down ballot, because I know from polling I do on state legislative races in Illinois, over the last couple of weeks, I've started to notice a bit of a drag in suburban districts. So the question is, do you have people that are going to vote against Trump or sit out, and that's going to impact down ballot races, not just statewide races, but state legislative races? Oh, by the way, if you live in Illinois, do you want to change Democrat supermajorities in the General Assembly, or do you think that's serving the state well over the last half century? Talk about a change election. So are we going to have Republicans that forget to vote for Republican candidates down ballot, or punish Republicans because of their feelings toward Trump, enough of them to make a difference. Like the 20% who are somewhere other than with Trump at the moment. That's a significant number. It shouldn't be dismissed. And Trump needs to get them back, which he started to do on Sunday night. That's the first order of business. Before you can kind of reach to the undecideds, you need to have the dyed-in-the-wools of your party with you, or you just can't win. And just ask Mark Kirk. He's going to find that out on November 8th. Let's take some calls. Jake in Lowell, Indiana.
Hey, how you doing? You know what? Here's what I got to say to all these evangelicals. The man said he's sorry. You're supposed to forgive. Are you not? And all these Republicans jumping ship, you're hypocrites. Because you know what? You don't see the Democrats going against Hillary. Time to stick together and knock this BS off.
All right. Thanks for the call, Jake. The one thing I would say about evangelicals, you can forgive, but it doesn't mean I can forgive somebody for what they do. It doesn't mean I have to support them for president. Those are two different things. And in terms of...
Yeah, but if you don't, then you're just giving a vote to Hillary.
Well, I understand the net of political effects, but I just want to separate. I can forgive someone and not feel they should be president of the United States. Those are separate things. And by the way, I don't know that the Democrats' moral standard is what we want to emulate, but I understand the point. George in Libertyville.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I think if Trump doesn't win, going forward, politics in America, it's going to be the greatest scumbag scene because most of us are just going to simply
already there. Already there.
I can't deal with this anymore. With what she's done, and people still look the other way. So all that's telling me is people just don't give a hoot, and it's going to be a scumbag circus going forward.
Thanks for the call, George. Illinois scaled nationally. Well, I think we've already done that.
Scumbag circus, huh?
John in Glen Ellen.
Yeah, one of the things about forgiveness is you have to repent and ask for forgiveness. Donald has done that. Hillary and her whole party have not. They revel in actually their evil, and I think they are evil.
John, thanks for the sorry, John, I didn't mean to cut you off, but thanks for the call. I want to pick up on that because you recall with the email matter, the private server matter, Hillary said, of course I wish I wouldn't have done it, not during the debate, but of course I wish I wouldn't have done it because look what happened. So she only doesn't...
She only regrets it because she got caught.
And because it impacted her negatively. That's why. Not just that she got caught, but that it impacted her negatively. That's an important point. That's not an apology. That's not seeking... It's not an expression of contrition. Right, it's not seeking. Yeah, that's right. So it's a fair point that John raises. Steve in Naperville.
Yeah, definitely going to still support Trump. And here's an easy litmus test, especially for these evangelicals. Does anybody honestly think that if Trump's elected, he's going to walk around the Oval Office being a serial crotch grabber of women like Clinton was? Absolutely not. But if Clinton's elected, that's still. And if Hillary's elected, do they actually think she's going to nominate somebody who will, support abortion? I mean, it's a very easy thing to figure out, but these people, they just don't care anymore.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Well, and it's the Trump campaign's responsibility to refocus everybody's attention away from cult of personality and on policy. Because it's ironically, since Trump is cult of personality, ironically, it's policy that could be Trump's political salvation. And it's reminding people it's about Supreme Court nominees and policy choices we make on immigration and the like. That matter. That's what politicians are.
They better get on it because the election is a month from today.
Yes, they better. Jane in Burridge.
Yeah, I keep thinking about Jack Ryan. If you recall, Jack Ryan was our Senate candidate, the Republican Senate candidate.
I recall.
And mysteriously, his divorce records got unsealed, and we found out that his gold digger wife got $20 million out of him because he had taken her to a sex club while they were married. And Judy Bartopinka and others said, "Ooh, that's icky," and we hounded Jack Ryan off the ticket. And what was the ultimate result?
Alan Keyes.
Barack Obama as our senator.
Right. Thanks for the call,
They're
Jane.
doing it again.
Thanks
They're playing us.
Thanks for the call, Jane. Here, I was on Jack Ryan's campaign.
Yeah, you were.
I know a little bit about that. Here's the thing, Jack Ryan.
First of all, she's not a gold digger.
Jack Ryan should have never got out of that campaign.
No, well, why you tried to talk him out of it, right?
I did twice. And
why did he get out ultimately?
Just didn't have the stomach for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then why did he get into politics to begin with? Does he know there's mudslinging?
It's a fair question.
Because his wife was supporting, or his ex-wife was still supporting him, and his family was, and you were. So why did he do it?
He should have stuck it out. It would have been better. He probably would have lost the election anyway, but he would have had a career, and it would have been better for the party. You want to talk about catastrophes. Illinois Republican Party knows a lot about them, and we could be witnessing a scaling of the Illinois Republican Party to the national level, and that's left us wandering in the wilderness for the better part of 2 generations. Kevin in Libertyville.
Good morning, guys. Hey, is there a dumber person on the planet Earth than Ryan from Wisconsin? Does he not know the goal of elections is to get more people to support you and your candidates than those that you're running against? Donald Trump won the nomination. He carries with him a minimum of 14 million Americans. So what does Ryan do rather than either just support it or just, I don't know, somehow tacitly support it? No. He says, I'm not supporting him anymore. And guess what? The number one trending thing on social media now is I'm voting for Trump and I'm not voting for any Republican that is up for re-election. And I'm tempted to just follow suit on that.
Really? You don't want Republicans in the General Assembly in Illinois? You don't want Republicans in Congress?
No, I'm talking national.
Okay.
I'm talking the National Party. Dole, I love them, but you know what? If they don't have the backbone to support the candidate that the people put there, then why should the people support them and put them back into office? Mark Kirk, I mean, he's a lost cause anyway. I was contemplating saying, I'll just vote for him. Just who knows? Maybe there'll come a time when they'll need a Republican majority. But now, forget it. Unless they say, hey, you know what? This is what the people ask for. They don't want a Pollyanna politician who will do and say whatever they think they should do and say. They want someone who's going to do the job and get it done right and knows what the hell they're doing.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate the call. Sean in Elmwood Park.
I've never seen anything like this, whereas if you don't support what you know is wrong, what you stand against, it's your fault. Why isn't it the fault of the buffoons who nominated this imbecile? It's your fault. If you voted for Trump, and the reality is what we see in front of us, the implosion of everything. I've never saw an election like this. I've watched elections since I'm 8. This candidate, this buffoon, is your choice. And somehow I'm supposed to say it's party first. It's party first. How's that different than communists? It's not about the party. It's never about the party. It's about each and every individual. So Mark Kirk, you don't like him? Write in jumping jacks. Get rid of him. You don't like any other Republican? Get rid of him. You don't vote party tickets. What the hell is going on? Have people lost their integrity, their dignity, and their sense, or am I a neocon now? I never bought this imbecile, ever. And for a year I told you it was going to happen. But no. Cruz's dad hung out with Oswald. Well, you morons put this idiot in there, and you wear him like a badge of stupidity. He's your buffoon, and you're going to lose.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
High clouds to start your day. We could have a shower around early this afternoon, a high of 72 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low 57. And for tomorrow, it's going to be breezy. A shower in the morning, then some rain and a thunderstorm, a high of 69. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The Eden's inbound is 30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. Kennedy, an hour and 2 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 27 minutes from Montrose, 23 in the Express. Outbound 56 to O'Hare. The Ike, an hour and 7 minutes. Thornhill to downtown, outbound 41 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44 minutes. Bryan, 27 minutes. 95th to the Loop. Tri-State southbound, it's stop and go, 120 to 137. Northbound Cicero to 47th and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Veterans Memorial very slow from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte of the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature Challenge. Success stories are pouring in.
I've been singing the product's praises to everybody I talked to.
I didn't have any real ailments to say, but I'm older and I was an ex-smoker and I did have some things that were kind of borderline and, I had a clean bill of health. I would love to have it forever because I felt strongly about it and because also of my lifestyle, I do not incorporate the fruits and vegetables that one person should have on a daily basis. So I thought this would be a very good thing.
For me, it's working.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Looking for an employment position or a career change in McHenry or Kane County? Contact Express Employment Professionals, 815-788-8556.
This is Terry Greeno. My company is Express Employment Professionals. If you want to get a new position in McHenry or Kane County, we are your connection. We did it 425,000 times last year. We are the go-to company for employment. Make a change and get a position that is rewarding and fulfilling. We know the companies in this area, and we know how to match you with a position that's a good fit for you. It's simple. We put great companies and great people together. We have the companies, now we need you. Contact us. Get more information at expresshires.com.
Contact the go-to company, the one that specializes in employment positions in McHenry and Kane County. Contact Express Employment Professionals, 815-788-8556. 815-788-8556.
When I listen to Audible, I'm not cooking dinner for one. I'm on horseback, galloping across the Scottish moors towards my one true love. There, through the mist, I see my beloved, kilt flapping in the breeze. The fibers of his shirt struggle against his bulging muscles as he takes me from my horse and... my frittata!
Go to audible.com/act now, and your first download is free. Audible, stories that surround you.
You might not know it, but fall is the perfect time to feed your lawn. So this football season, you can spend halftime eating some lukewarm bean dip, or you can head outside and run some lawn feeding routes using Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food. The conditions are ideal for grass to grow deep roots, so your lawn will be stronger come spring. So forget the room temperature dip. Get out there and pick up your bag today. Fall time is yard time with Scott's.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Wednesday, October 12th. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar Wednesday, October 12th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature Challenge. Success stories are pouring in.
It resolved the problem that my husband was having. We've been together for 22 years, and ever since I've known him, he's the type of guy that as soon as he eats, he's got to run to the bathroom. That's what it was. I mean, he didn't have weight loss or anything like that. He just had a lot of digestive issues. That straightened him right out, and he's eating healthier, more fruit and veg in his diet, which has straightened him out as well, but that pretty much got him back on track.
I like it. I feel good. Notice a difference in my nails and my hair. Not anything I could put my finger on, but I feel a little bit more bounce to my step, and I'm going on 70, so there's not normally bounces in my step.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Continue our discussion, take your calls, and bring in Mark Hemingway from the Weekly Standard at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we have 58 degrees. Students and teachers here in Chicago heading back to class this morning after the CTU and the nation's third largest district avert a strike with a late-night contract agreement. Giants still alive in the NLDS as in 13 innings, San Francisco beats the Cubs 6-5. Donald Trump again promising to name a special prosecutor if Hillary Clinton to investigate Hillary Clinton if he wins the White House. Meantime, Clinton is campaigning in Michigan, saying Trump should be spending more time apologizing and less time attacking.
Insulted not just women, but African Americans, Latinos, people with disabilities, Muslims, POWs, and so many more.
Hillary Clinton and Trump are both campaigning in the swing state of Florida today. Today is also the deadline to register to vote in the November 8th presidential election in at least 15 states and territories. Samsung hanging up on its Galaxy Note 7. The tech giant ending production of the smartphone and asking global partners to stop sales and exchanges. Today could be another day of water rescues in North Carolina, where there has been flooding brought on by Hurricane Matthew. Many victims of the hurricane in Haiti are still waiting for food, clean water, and medical care. Mayor Rahm Emanuel lays out his 2017 budget today. AM 560's David Stewart will be watching on the 5th floor of City Hall. Boys in stable condition burned while riding his bike on Chicago's south side near 86th and Peoria. He rode through a bunch of objects on fire. His pants caught ablaze, and he suffered second-degree burns. Baseball last night, we told you about the Cubs. Indians move on. They'll take on Toronto next after a win over the Red Sox 4-3. NLDS Nationals over the Dodgers 8-3. The news is a service of Napa Auto Parts. Folks at Napa Auto Parts can't tell you when the next storm is coming, but they can prepare you for when it hits with Napa Proformer wiper blades. Just $3.99 a blade. That's Napa know-how at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 11/13/16. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935. The following is a paid political announcement.
I want you to know that Steve Reich will be the best representative for McHenry County. Steve knows you have to walk on both sides of the road, and he sees rising property taxes driving out homeowners who thought they'd get help. Well, Steve Reich will fight for tax relief that will also grow the local economy. And I know Steve Reich will have a strong voice for the farmers. Steve will work for you and everybody in McHenry County. Elect Steve Reich for state representative in the 63rd District.
Paid for by citizens to elect Stephen Reich.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on how they do business differently.
It's been 20 years, and the business has changed probably 40 times in 20 years because technology changes every year, and you have to stay with it. You have to know where it's going and prognosticate where that is, and our clients really benefit from our knowledge and our experience and the way that we're reading the roadmap. We're putting them on things that are coming out in the future, and if it's not beneficial to the client, we won't be putting them on there. And a lot of people just fly by the seat of their pants. You know, we have a director of information technology that his job is only to scout new technologies and how they can affect a small business. Every business, no matter if it's a funeral home, a manufacturer, a car dealer, whatever, we all rely on our information, and when that information isn't available, your business is shot. So our main purpose is to really do our very best to keep people up 100% of the time, to keep them backed up and make sure that they can do what they do, and we can deal with the technical stuff.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros at Turnkey so you can focus on the important things of your business. Visit turnkey.pro today.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up a vent right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank?
14 years.
That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mike Rowe's the
I'm
man.
sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rowe's the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1 Hour today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rowe's the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens Expressway is 29 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 32. Kennedy, now an hour from O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, it is 56 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 41 minutes. Stevenson really jammed Harlem most of the way to Lakeshore Drive, an hour and 7 minutes. 3:55 to the drive, outbound 45 minutes. Ryan, 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, tied up from 132 to 137. Northbound, Cicero to 47th and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic service of account temps. Accounting and finance salaries are on the rise in 2017. Get an in-depth salary forecast for more than 400 accounting and finance roles in your area by visiting them at accounttemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sun this morning. Some showers could be around early afternoon, high 72. Currently 60 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So it's been an interesting, last 96 hours, particularly with you, Amy, because you've really rallied to the defense of Trump since the audio was released on Friday.
You mean this audio?
And
do you want to hear it? About her augmentations and how he tried to bet her, and she said no, and because
and then grabbing, and it's
and his leeway, locker room talk, how he described it. To me, it was just I think it was Bush League what they did to him. They secretly
pun intended.
Oh yeah, the Bushster. They secretly videotaped him and taped his audio, which California is a 2-party consent tape. So what they did actually is illegal. And then someone held it for 11 years just to blackmail Donald Trump somewhere down the road. And to me, I felt like Maurice, he was a victim, and that he really didn't mean what he said. He was just joking around with the guys and trying to be the cool guy in the room. Look, he doesn't have a lot of vices. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He's a womanizer. That's his big, thing. He likes to be rich. He likes to have money. He likes to be in power, and he likes to joke around about women. I mean, we're objects to him, and to me, it doesn't bother me. It's something you live with it's just part of life. I don't know why people are so offended. I don't know why all these Republicans now are coming forward saying they're denouncing Donald Trump for what he did and what he said 11 years ago. That's when he was a Democrat. He made those comments.
I hear. Let me just make a general statement, and we'll take calls. Get your reaction. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. This country is going to a very dark place. It's going to a very dark place, regardless of the outcome of this presidential election. And I think what you have a lot of people doing who are supporting Trump, even reluctantly, is saying, I recognize that. And I'm a little afraid of where this country's going. I'm incredibly frustrated by what our culture has become from kindergarten through the workplace. And these are my options. And so I have to take a flyer on Donald Trump providing some pushback, or at least providing some biding of time until we can change the conversations that change the culture, that change our politics, that change the laws that govern a free society. But I think people are highly concerned about the future of our country, almost as concerned as they are about the future of Billy Bush's career. That's how concerned they are. I'm one of them, which is why I think that I have some solidarity within the conservative grassroots. And this is not Donald Trump as a savior, because if you're looking for a savior in politics, then you're really in a bad place.
You'll be looking for a long time.
And it certainly isn't in this election cycle. And I think people have very legitimate concerns about their economic security, about their physical security, about the future of this country for their progeny. And all those concerns are legitimate, because it's going to get much more divisive. It's going to get much uglier before it gets better. I'll predict that. I won't guarantee anything, but I'll predict it.
The only good news is I think we've stopped the bleeding with more Trump tapes coming out, because Mark Burnett, the executive producer of Celebrity Apprentice, said that he will not be releasing any tapes, and that they're worse than the ones that we've heard.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean. I mean, we're talking about 40 years of this guy in the public eye behaving like an ass. So that doesn't mean that there aren't other tapes and other shows, other events that are kind of other shoes yet to drop. Peter on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. Peter, go.
Yeah, so two things. First of all, I agree with Amy 100% that this tape is being blown out of proportion. Regardless, I want to say a comment on that guy Sean was almost yelling about how that's like a communist country to say you have to vote for the ticket all because you're a Republican. What a total moron. It's not about voting for Donald Trump because you necessarily agree with everything he says. It's more voting for Donald Trump to make sure Hillary doesn't end up in the Oval Office.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Peter. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's, it's stopping Hillary. No, I totally understand that. Totally understand that and agree with it. Ron in Buffalo Grove.
Yeah, I hearing all this morning really upsets me. This is pathetic. Here you've got the Republicans that are trying to destroy Trump because they know he's going to clean house. And it's even more pathetic that you've got evangelical pastors who know what the scriptures say, get the beam out of your own eye before you judge the speck in your brother's eye. I think it's pathetic. Who in this world is without sin? Tell me one person who is without sin.
No one.
That's my.
Yeah.
We've all made mistakes. We've all said stupid things.
Yeah.
And especially when we didn't think people were recording.
There are levels to it. I mean, the whole kind of he is without sin cast the first stone. There are levels to this conduct. But here's the other thing with respect to the pastors and others. You knew what you were getting.
Right. Why was anybody surprised that he said that he's so empowered he can go up and grab a woman where he wants because he's a star? That didn't surprise me at all. That's Donald. That's part of his shtick.
Anybody who has misunderstood Donald Trump's character up until the point of Friday with the release of those tapes hasn't been paying attention. My view on Donald Trump's character has not changed an iota. I'm talking about the last 25 years, not just in his since his announcement for president, but his opponent has, and that makes all the difference. And
he's got to answer to his wife and his family before he has to answer to other Republican politicians.
Well, he's a candidate for public office.
Well, okay.
He has to answer to the public, but not necessarily Republican officials, but to the public. And so, so I would be interested, though, to hear from people who have done like a 180 on Trump from Friday, because there are people that have. There are people that have, because we know from the numbers that he has suffered attrition within self-identified Republicans within that universe. Patty and Wilmette, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. I just find it amazing that this fake, phony, is being upset about this tape when they listen to this rap music all the time. And what do they say in that? I mean, it's a lot of the Democrats that were so upset about this tape and pushed it, of course. But, I mean, it's just totally hypocritical that they are outraged about this. Totally.
Thanks for the call, Patty. The other thing we have is we have some like Trump supporters that just don't want to confront reality. They just want to say, this is wrong. They want to have the normative conversation rather than the positive one of what the landscape is. Here's what it should be. Okay, well, here's what it is. So what are you going to do about what it is? So, for example, a text from 708, man, I can't listen to you anymore. A lot of crybabyism from certain elements of the Trump camp that I find pathetic, weak, just as weak as those Vichy Republicans that I talk about and that some Trump supporters decry. Well, you're behaving the same way. You're behaving like a little bedwetter. So why don't you grow up, some of you Trump supporters? You can't have an adult conversation about the state of the race 4 weeks out? Or do you want to do the Sir Galahad theory? I'm right, So I don't care what reality is. You know what that attitude gets you? Because that's what the Illinois Republican Party has done for the last 20 years. That attitude gets you a super minority. That attitude gets you losses on Election Day. So do you want to articulate your position, make a case, recognizing what the numbers say, and how we should try and traverse the landscape from here to November 8th? Or do you just want to, throw your rattle at people who disagree with you? Silly. Morris in Gary, Indiana.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the House and Senate break room, listening to these guys talk after 2 or 12 cocktails. A bunch of self-righteous do-gooders. What Donald Trump did was not the brightest thing in the world. I learned from a young age that you never let anybody video you. You never let anybody tape you. But I got to say this thing about Donald Trump. I would rather have a guy like Trump in there who's a real guy than a woman that has done nothing but lie throughout her entire career. So that's all I've got to say this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Morris. Appreciate the call. Fair point about what would be heard if the Senate and members of Congress walked around with hot mics. John on the South Side.
Hello?
Yeah, John.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. Yes. I understand what Trump did was repulsive, but what Bill Clinton did while he was in office was not only repulsive, it was criminal activity. Why aren't these self-righteous people asking him to resign? Hillary Clinton formed a committee to go after the women who wanted to report the crime. And she hired James Carville to attack one of the women and call her trailer park trash.
Right.
How come we're not asking Hillary Clinton to resign? The other thing is, if, God forbid, she is elected, we're going to have... Do you think Melania Trump would do what she's done, Hillary Clinton, if her husband was caught in this kind of activity? If we have, God forbid, Hillary Clinton for president, imagine this. We'll have Bill Clinton as the first man of America.
Yeah, and right. And to the people who would be embarrassed about Trump in the White House, that won't be embarrassing. Thanks for the call, John. Patty in Buffalo Grove.
Hi.
Hi, Patty.
Hi.
Hi.
I love your show. First of all, I want to say that.
Thank you.
Dan, I so appreciate just your steady hand in all this and your explanation along with Amy. I know you got real kind of rocky on Donald Trump there for a while, a month or two ago. I can't remember what happened then. But I appreciate what you just said is, minutes ago, is my viewpoint exactly. I'm sticking with Donald Trump because he's the option I have left to get, hopefully, some other things that I want, the things I believe in. That's why I'm staying with him. He made a big error, and he made a mistake, but my God, people are acting like this is just, oh my God, men talk like this. I've heard them. I've witnessed it myself. Men do strange things and say things that they don't mean.
All right. Thanks for the call, Patty. I appreciate it. Men do strange things. That's the best defense I've heard so far.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey there, this is Eric Metaxas. Lately, I've been telling you about Liberty University's online degree programs. Liberty University is the world's largest Christian university with over 95,000 students studying around the world through Liberty's online programs. While there are a lot of universities who've jumped into online education, few can deliver on the promise of a quality education with such flexibility, and even fewer can actually point to a graduate of their online program like my friend Morgan from Nashville.
I did it. I actually got my degree from Liberty University. 2 degrees, actually. Not only has this process taught me self-discipline, I've also learned that it is never too late to fulfill your dreams. And I did it all online. I did it, and you can too.
Call Liberty University now at 800-424-9595. That's 800-424-9595, 800-424-9595, or visit liberty.edu/online. Flexible, affordable, possible. Liberty University Online.
Hey, have you waited to buy a MyPillow? Well, if you have, you're in luck. For this month only, when you buy one premium MyPillow, you still get the second for free, but you'll also receive 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, all for the price of 1. That Go Anywhere pillow, just keep it in your car. And when you take a nap on the side of the road, it's the perfect pillow. I did that 3 times yesterday driving back from St. Louis. Oh, Dan, how did you get home, by the way? Did you? Oh, you flew, yeah. It's the best offer ever. Nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow because it's the best. The National Sleep Foundation agrees. They made it their official pillow. It's washable to remove all the ickies that cause allergies, acne, and asthma, and get that sweat out. So it's a great health investment, and you will sleep better. We guarantee it. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. Again, 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of 1. Or call 800-489-0201, mention the radio listener special, and use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about Captain Queeg of the Republican Party or Donald Trump and whether there will be a total Kane GOP mutiny. Chuck on the Northwest Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello, Dan and Amy. Donald Trump is a very rich man, even back 11 years ago. And I'm sure you can become a little contemptuous of women when all they want is to be in your limelight, to get the money, to do whatever it takes to be with a star. If we want to think about the questions, I wonder what a rock show at the end after women are throwing their underwear up, do they sit there and go, geez, I wonder if I could go and ask her for a date?
Thanks for the call, Chuck. I mean, I know how it feels. I know how he feels talking about Trump.
Wow, it's the girl's fault. They just want a piece of the Trumpster, man.
Okay.
They just want a sugar daddy.
Catherine in South Barrington.
Yeah, you had a caller earlier that said something about Trump being an option. Trump is not an option. Trump won a primary with 16, 17 opponents. He has a plan. He has a cogent plan and direction, and people recognize that until the Democrats decided to fear-mong. And now, if Hillary gets in there, what's going to happen is that fear-monging is going to get more and more pronounced, and people are going to start clutching to, mama and daddy Democrat Party. I mean, Trump is a viable candidate. He's human, everybody is, but he's a viable candidate. He's not an option. He is not what we've got left over. This is the man that will get it done.
All right. Thanks, Catherine.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
True love is selfless, we commonly hear, but philosopher and novelist Ayn Rand rejected that idea. A selfless love is a contradiction in terms. It would mean that you have no personal stake in the relationship. Instead, romantic love is profoundly selfish. It's a union of mind and body that both people pursue for their own happiness. Ayn Rand wrote that only a rational, selfish man, a man of self-esteem, is capable of love. That's because we love what we personally value, and love is profoundly demanding. To quote a famous line from Ayn Rand's novel The Fountainhead, to say I love you, one must first know how to say the I. You can learn more about Ayn Rand's thought-provoking perspective on love, sex, and human relationships at ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brook's Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ARIradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work, and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
School is on for Chicago Public Schools students. We'll have that story after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The election is in 4 weeks, and a familiar face will be out campaigning. Al Gore, the former vice president, will join Hillary Clinton at a rally in Miami as she calls Donald Trump an equal opportunity insulter.
Who are we? Right? I would argue we are not who he is.
Now, Trump keeps hitting back. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, campaigning in Pennsylvania, Trump asked supporters to keep a close eye in the polls so that the election is not stolen from them, saying he wants every vote counted 100%. The Republican also hinted he's expecting more negative headlines.
If they want to release more tapes saying inappropriate things, we'll continue to talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton doing inappropriate things.
Trump repeated his claims that the system is rigged and said that as Election Day approaches, he'll make 3 to 4 stops a day and may squeeze in 6 stops a day in the final week. Dave.
Rachel Matthew keeps causing misery in North Carolina days after the hurricane hit.
You go in a room and there's nothing.
You got heavy furniture, and it's all in pieces, and it's on the other side of the room or in another room.
Most of her stuff's ruined in flooded Fayetteville as rivers keep rising. More than 1,000 people have needed rescue, and boats and helicopters will be out again today. Matthews now blamed for 23 U.S. deaths. Samsung is hanging up on Galaxy Note 7 phones. Samsung won't make them anymore. Stores won't sell them, and you shouldn't use them.
After several of the smartphones that were supposed to be safe replacements for models already recalled caught fire. The company saying people will own the original Note 7 or replacements they obtained after the recall should turn them off and ask for a refund or exchange them for a different phone.
Fox's Lisa Lucera, if you're angry, be careful blowing off steam working out. A new study out of Canada shows being very upset more than doubles your risk of a heart attack. The same applies after a sweaty, intense workout. Combine the two, and you triple the chance of a heart attack. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sunshine this morning. 60 degrees, 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Students and teachers in Chicago are back in class this morning after the CTU and the nation's third largest district avert a strike with a late-night tentative contract deal. It's a 4-year proposal, including a cost of living increase in years 3 and 4. Giants still alive in the NLDS. They win in the bottom of the 13th, beating the Cubs 6-5 in Game 3 at AT&T Park. Jake Arrieta did have a 3-run home run off Madison Bumgarner in the second. Chris Bryant, a home run that tied the game for Chicago in the ninth. Chicago still leads the best-of-5 matchup 2-1. Mayor Emanuel lays out his budget proposal today, including, he says, money for half of the new police hires that he wants. The boy is in stable condition, burned while riding his bike on Chicago's South Side. Kids were lighting books and other objects on fire yesterday near 86th and Peoria when the 11-year-old rode through the flames and his pants caught fire. 3 teens are hospitalized following a shooting on Chicago's South Side near 70th Place and Damon. And Governor Rauner says Donald Trump's leaked tape is, in his word, disgusting. Rauner speaking about the controversy yesterday before the Columbus Day parade kicked off in downtown Chicago. We told you about San Francisco and the Cubs. The Indians advance with a win over the Red Sox, 4-3. The NLDS between the Nationals and Dodgers now advantage Washington after an 8-3 win over L.A. The news service of Unbound. A girl in El Salvador dreams of becoming an engineer. An elder in Uganda dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of turnkey.pro. Here's Carol Zimmer.
From the Fox Business Network, shares of Samsung falling after the company asked all telecom carriers and retailers around the world to stop selling its Galaxy Note 7. This follows reports that some replacement devices have caught fire. The recall could cost Samsung $17 billion. Verizon says it won't walk away from a deal to buy Yahoo after it was revealed that a 2014 security breach affected more than 500 million users. But Verizon did leave the door open to renegotiate the $4.8 billion it agreed to pay. Tyson Foods has taken a 5% stake in Beyond Meat. This is a company that makes plant-based burger patties that are trying to taste like ground beef. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
It's 8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio, Chicago's safe money specialist.
We are going to manage a portfolio to the extent where every single month, you know and you feel confident that no matter what market it is, that you don't need to play the guessing game and time the market, because it's not timing the market, it's time in the market.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money specialist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free, if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1150 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1150 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com. Code 1150.
It's 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy delays start at Nagel. It's an hour from O'Hare to downtown. 35 minutes from Montrose. 24 in the Express. Outbound 50 to the airport. Eden's 24 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 38. The Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 53 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 48 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's 45 minutes. Ryan is 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, it's sticky from 132 to 137. Northbound, very heavy. 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis. Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow from the Elgin toll to 31 and Bartlett to Barrington. Reagan Tollway to long jam from the Aurora toll to 53 with a crash on the left shoulder. Then slow Roosevelt to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial slow I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a shower around into the early afternoon. High today 72, partly cloudy for tonight with a low of 57. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
60 at O'Hare. Next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The Chicago Public Schools and the Chicago Teachers Union has a tentative agreement.
If they want to release more tapes saying inappropriate things, we'll continue to talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton doing inappropriate things. There are so many of them, folks.
So if he wants to talk about what we've been doing the last 30 years, bring it on.
So here we have, this is the difference between the parties. We have a Democrat who acts with his intern in the White House and the party rallies around him. We have a Republican nominee who has a private conversation about sex he's not getting, and the party abandons him.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. No, Amy, in these challenging times, I am often want to go back and reread passages from Whittaker Chambers' Witness and remind myself that it's about putting in the fight for what you think is right, even if you think you're going to lose, as was the case with Chambers, because you may turn out to be wrong. And if you haven't read Witness, everybody listening should read Witness. It's one of the most important books of the last 100 years. But now that has been replaced by Ken Bone. And now I just want to know all the details of Ken Bone's life in Shiloh, Illinois, including the cats.
Well, this may be shocking, but I got sucked into his wife, Heather's Facebook page. Dan, they don't have 2, 3, 4. They have 5 cats.
And Heather is his wife.
Heather is his wife,
Which
yes.
is the shocking part of the story.
Why?
That it's not Ken and 5 cats.
Oh, that's so mean. He's got a son who loves him very much. He's
Yes.
a young little teen,
Mhm.
little whippersnapper there. And yeah, Ken's, I learned a lot about Ken too. Ken, he's a pretty funny guy. He was sequestered, he and the others that were at that town hall, for 14 hours. So that's why they had those disposable cameras up there. But no, he works in the energy industry, and he was ready to ask his question.
The
and
coal
the
industry,
sweater, yes, and the sweater that he was wearing
Yeah.
sold out on Izod. Going to be the #1 Halloween costume this year. Okay, he's making the rounds, and he was going to wear something different, but his pantsuit kind of he had an accident.
I had a really nice olive suit that I love a great deal, and my mother would have been very proud to see me wearing on television. But apparently I've gained about 30 pounds, and when I went to get in my car the morning of the debate, I split the seat of my pants all the way open. So the red sweater is plan B. I'm glad it worked out.
Ken Bone, it's something only could happen. So here's, we'll take your calls. For Halloween, are you going to go as red cardigan Ken Bone or olive suit Ken Bone?
I'm going to go as Nancy O'Dell.
Yeah.
Oh.
But first, we have to tackle some more heady matters. And to do that, we're joined by our friend Mark Hemingway, senior writer for the Weekly Standard, weeklystandard.com. And also his wife, Molly, a regular guest. She writes for The Federalist, also excellent writer. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
So let's start with your piece, given kind of just to try and get a handle on the state of play in the race. You write, it's time to recognize which GOP leaders were right about Trump. So which ones were?
Well, there are a couple of names that spring to mind. I really do think that stood out basically for opposing Trump early on and standing on principle. Ben Sass, the junior senator from Nebraska, for a long time earlier this year was the only Republican member of Congress publicly opposed to Trump. And, he was taken to Twitter and, asking Donald Trump questions about, do you think it's okay to sleep with married women, and things like that. And here we are, that very question may be the downfall of Trump's candidacy. And the other is Mike Lee, senator from Utah. Now, he didn't have as much political risk there because, for whatever reason, Utah voters, Mormons, have been, uniformly opposed to Trump since pretty much the beginning. But at the same time, he really went the extra mile. He led a revolt among delegates on the floor of the Republican convention as a sitting U.S. senator, which was kind of unprecedented in at least in the modern era. And he really put his money where his mouth is. The Republican Party, of course, shut down the delegate revolt in a rather corrupt fashion. But he really worked to try and stop Trump.
Well, with the election is a month away, and do you think these 36, 37 politicians, Republicans who are against Donald Trump, do you think it's really going to affect his base? People that are already committed to Donald Trump?
Well, it's not going to affect his base, but the problem is that Donald Trump's base is probably about 35% of the voting public. That's about the people, if you look at the primary polls and what's going on in the polls now, and extrapolate out, that's about Trump's hardcore base of support. And, if that's where things stand, if Trump doesn't get much above 35, 40%, it's just going to be an absolute bloodbath. I think, we have 3 polls now. Granted, we're still sort of absorbing the news of both the debate and the leaked tape on Friday. We have about 3 polls now that show him all of a sudden, losing by double digits. I remember, I think it's the NBC poll that came out yesterday showed that on the generic ballot, Democrats were, 7 points ahead of Republicans. Anything above, Democrats plus about 3, the GOP's historic House majority is in jeopardy. That's what's going on right now. The polling really is that apocalyptic, and that's why all of these Republicans are jumping ship now.
Yeah, but it seems to me that may exacerbate the death spiral rather than trying to hold fast and remind people that, soft pedal it as much as you want, but basically this is who Trump is, and you knew it from the beginning. Nobody can be surprised. This is who Trump's been for 25 years. It's who he's been for the last 16 months. So stop pretending you're surprised by the quality of Trump's character and focus on stopping Hillary. Focus on these two individuals as vessels for very different policy choices, very different Supreme Court nominees, and so forth, sort of like Trump was able to do on Sunday night, and try and get back to that as the referendum question. Isn't that the play?
Well, that's the argument against what's happening right now. But the problem here is it's just really kind of, an arbitrage here. You're weighing the risk of, abandoning Trump now versus the risk of holding together, unity as a party. And, I don't know. They've been holding together pretty good for a long time now, and Trump could never quite get over the hump in the polls. And now with this knowledge. The problem here is that you've got a lot of swing districts that are especially vulnerable to this kind of thing, and already they were, people like Kelly Ayotte running for Senate in New Hampshire were already really putting their, risking a lot to support Trump. At some point, there was no way you were going to be able to talk certain individual Republicans in certain difficult swing districts, to keep defending this guy, because, I think their political careers were directly impacted by it. But yeah, no, you make a very good case about the alternative argument for, against abandoning Trump. It appears that Republicans have already made their choice based on the conference call that Paul Ryan had with House members yesterday and the dozens that abandoned him over the weekend.
Yeah, but Paul Ryan's not giving up on him completely. He's just not going to be campaigning with him.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, you have to remember Paul Ryan is in kind of a unique position. He's not just an ordinary House Republican. He's in a very safe seat. And on top of that, he is the Speaker of the House. So I think Paul Ryan, I'm not sure Paul Ryan ever wanted to support Trump, to be honest. But, he felt that as, the leader of the Republican Party in a lot of ways, that he had no choice, but for the sake of party unity, for the sake of preserving the institution, that he had to come out and support the nominee. And I think that's kind of where he is at now.
With respect to this mutiny, and maybe that's been stemmed a little bit by his debate performance on Sunday, but whether it has or not, with respect to this, seems like Trump has to pivot there, too, and not get into Twitter wars with individual members of Congress, much less the Speaker of the House, but just to say, look, I know there's a lot of the political ruling class against me. They have been from the beginning. They thought I was a joke. They think you're a joke, American people, Trump supporters. And I'm not running for them and for their support. I'm running for you and to advance your interests. So I don't care what they do or say. I don't care who from the ruling class is going to support me or not. If they want to support me, great. If they don't want to support me, that's fine, too, because this is about your economic future. It's not about the political future of the ruling class. It seems he's got to make that argument to kind of dismiss and marginalize the mutiny while also making the other argument I just mentioned to refocus the referendum on Hillary.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that would be the best argument for him to make at this moment in time. The question is how capable is Trump of effectively making that argument? I mean, you mentioned Twitter wars with individual members of the House. Of course, he was tweeting out, bad things about Paul Ryan this morning. I mean, he's too petty and narcissistic to look beyond, these, individual slings and arrows and stay focused on message. Trump makes everything about himself, and when you just, screwed up big time like he did, over the weekend or did 11 years ago and just caught up with him now, he is incapable of refocusing onto the big picture. He always has to defend himself. That's why he was so terrible in the first debate. He got put on his heels and was forced to defend his business record, and he couldn't just let go of it and pivot onto something different. He's just too petty.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating to me that Trump doesn't recognize this by now, that ironically, as perhaps the least policy-oriented presidential candidate in the race from the beginning, policy is his salvation, his political salvation. It's not cult of personality, which I think he thinks it is. It's actually his policy positions. That's his play. And sometimes he makes it and other times he doesn't. And as the question was asked during the debate on Sunday, if, as Trump once said, discipline is required for proper leadership, he needs to take his own advice the last 4 weeks.
That's exactly right. He is the most undisciplined, figure I think we've seen in politics perhaps ever. And I just, I feel for the people that are trying to wrangle him in. When they are able to focus him like they did through most of September, I mean, he did quite well. I mean, he was really within striking distance. He was one or two.
Nope. Oh. Did we lose Mark? Sorry, you're back.
He was one or two bad news cycles away from, for one or two bad news cycles for Hillary Clinton away from, possibly pulling into the lead. But, he just could never quite get over the hump, and a lot of it has to do with his own personal flaws.
Mark Hemingway, senior writer for the Weekly Standard, weeklystandard.com. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some thick clouds right now. We should have some sun after there's a brief shower early this afternoon, a high of 72 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 57. And for Wednesday, it's going to be breezy around here, a shower in the morning, some rain, a thunderstorm by the afternoon. Kind of a yucky day, a high of 69. Let's get those travel times. Any yuck out on the roadways? Here's Jim Delamonte.
Well, Amy, the inbound Kennedy is pretty heavy. I don't know if I'd quite say yucky, but it's an hour from O'Hare to downtown. The delays start at Nagel. It is quicker in the Express. Outbound 44 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 38. The Eisenhower is an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 47 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. The Ryan, 24 minutes. 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is really rough. 40 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. There's a crash mixed in at Fullerton in the right lane. Northbound, slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound, knotted up from 120 to 137. Northbound, 95th to 31st. And Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Reagan Tollway very slow. Farnsworth most of the way to 53 with a crash on the left shoulder. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%. APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy are taking your calls on the mutiny afoot, how Trump should respond to kind of reset the table for the final 4 weeks of the campaign at the last debate just a week from tomorrow. Some of those emails that have been unearthed, the hacked John Podesta emails that have Hillary saying all kinds of things, private position versus public position, never the two shall meet, lying about the contents of her Wall Street speeches, obviously, thus her unwillingness to release those transcripts. Recognizing that Saudi Arabia and Qatar are funding ISIS, yet taking millions of dollars via the Clinton Foundation from both foreign governments. These are pretty good topic areas, but Trump has some work to do, as we were just discussing with Mark Hemingway.
They need to get on that today because the election's a month from today, and they can at least have some campaign ads out saying such. So hopefully they'll do it today.
Kurt in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. First I want to preface that I voted for George W. Bush twice. I loved him. He was my president. If Trump loses, I will never vote for another establishment type again. They're so happy that all these things are happening now, giving them a reason to run and say it's not our fault, it's his fault. Well, it's their fault. They're not backing him. And if Trump loses, the Republican Party's done. Someone's going to start a new party, and the Republicans are going to be a part of history because they're ruining this. They're the biggest bunch of cowards. All they care about is their own pocketbook and keeping their job.
Thanks for the call, Kurt. Mike in Park Ridge.
I think this is hilarious. I think the Republicans woke up a month from the election and said to themselves, oh, my God, we nominated Donald Trump as our nominee. They're idiots, and they deserve it all. And people who supported Donald Trump are going to be on record for the rest of their lives as having been supportive of Donald Trump. Meanwhile, I'm grabbing Amy by the purse, and we're voting for Gary Johnson. There is another party. It's the Libertarian Party, and the rest of you should join us now to stop Hillary Clinton.
Hands off my purse.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Wow, he's very aggressive
for
a libertarian.
It was very aggressive. I feel very uncomfortable. I need a safe space.
That's supposed to be, that's an other regarding action, Mike the Libertarian from Park Ridge. Kent in Lincoln Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. I don't agree with the gentleman you had on before talking about, how there's a Democratic advantage of 7 points, and, that means that the Republicans are going to lose the House. Usually it's a 4-point advantage always. So, the only reason Republicans are in the shape they are is because of the way the Republican Party's acted. Yeah, Donald Trump has acted a little childish also. And, Amy, I'm fascinated. So you're a libertarian? If you have admitted what you really are?
No, I don't.
No, Mike from Park Ridge was imposing that on her.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for the call, Kent.
Do we have 30 seconds? Can I play Donald Trump yesterday when he was in Pennsylvania? He didn't stay on message. He didn't talk about our emails. He talked crazy stuff about Ted Kennedy. Listen to this.
The hypocrites in the media don't want to talk about what Hillary Clinton has done to these victims. They don't want to talk about what their other political heroes have done to other innocent girls and women. People like Kennedy, Chappaquiddick, we remember that. Driving his car into a pond instead of calling the police, possibly saving her life. In fact, almost definitely being able to save her life. He went home and went to sleep. Did not report the incident to the police for 10 hours, yet he was hailed as a hero.
Yeah, well, he's talking about the feminist left and the media left double standard, which is correct.
Okay.
I mean, there's no question. He's right about that. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Tom.
I'm a conservative, 54 years old. I tend to mostly vote Republican. I've never missed an election in my life. I can think of one reason, intellectual reason, to vote for Trump, and I'm not going to. I'm voting for Johnson as well. But the only intellectual reason I can come across is that he gets elected and either advocates or immediately becomes impeached, neither of which are very wholesome choices for the nation. Thank you.
All right, Tom.
I agree with that.
Lee and Hammond.
Yeah, hi. As far as this Republican Party going down in flames, these establishment Republicans don't care if it goes down in flames. The big push right now is they got to get this globalist agenda over the finish line. They cannot allow a nationalist like Trump to get near the White House. Simple as that.
All right, thanks, Lee. Nick in Barrington.
Just wanted to comment with the evangelicals. There are a lot of closet Jimmy Swaggarts. Now they're abandoning Trump when he's the only one that will stand up for Christianity in light of all that's taking place and how they're being persecuted. Where are they going to go? Hillary? I don't believe what's happening. It's insanity. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Nick. Well, and that's the Tony Perkins position from Family Research Council. I'm supporting Trump not because of our shared values, but because I think he's the only one that we have a chance to defend Christianity and do something about Christian genocide in the Middle East.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Wednesday, October 12th. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar Wednesday, October 12th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
Guys, when it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone number? I know mine. Low T Center made it easy. Went to the Low T Center, took a simple blood test with their on-site lab. I was able to get my results in minutes. If you're a man over 40 and have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. And in honor of Prostate Health Month, Low T Center is offering a $50 testosterone and prostate level test. So guys, if you don't know your numbers, haven't met your deductible, or don't have insurance, you should take advantage of this offer. It's quick, easy, and you'll get your results in about 20 minutes. Do yourself a favor and call 630-409-4305. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That number again, 630-409-4305. Or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, did Chicago Teachers Union get what they want? We'll explain.
As they always do.
And then later, a vasectomy party. And there's a cake for that, too. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
60 and clowns, students and teachers back in class. CTU and the Chicago School District averting a strike with a late-night tentative contract agreement. Teachers Union President Karen Lewis.
It wasn't easy, as you all know. Clearly, we had some issues, and there's some things we're going to still be working on.
That deal must still be approved by the union's House of Delegates. That could take weeks. The 4-year proposal includes a cost of living increase. San Francisco back in the NLDS, beating the Cubs in 13 innings, 6-5 in Game 3 at AT&T Park, Game 4 later today. Donald Trump congratulating himself for his debate performance last night, stumping in Pennsylvania. He did apologize for his vulgar remarks that surfaced in an old videotape. Samsung hanging up on its Galaxy Note 7. The tech giant ending production of that smartphone, asking global partners to stop sales and exchanges. Just moments ago, the governor in North Carolina reporting 3 more hurricane deaths, bringing that total number to 14. Rescue teams right now ferrying those trapped by the high water. There's more disastrous flooding for communities downstream as waters continue to rise. Mayor Emanuel promising the budget he's releasing today will include money for half of the new police officers that he wants to hire. We will follow this story with AM 560's David Stewart throughout the day. The rest of playoff baseball saw the Indians advance with a 4-3 win over the Red Sox. They have Toronto next. In the other NLDS series, Nationals beat the Dodgers 8-3. The news, a service of Cap Fusion. Need funding for your small business? Move forward with Cap Fusion. It's a lending partner you can trust. Quick, honest loans, no hassle, no pressure, no hidden fees. Call Cap Fusion 312-423-7990 or visit capfusion.com and discover a better loan for your business. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains what a Trump win means.
Do you realize that a victory for Donald Trump is a defeat for the New York Times? Beating Hillary means you're going to beat NBC? I don't think I've ever wanted a presidential candidate to win as badly as I want Donald Trump to win, if for no other reason that it's going to wipe the smirks off so many people.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100-plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100-plus job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
8:36, check of the roads, AM 560 traffic center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delay started Cicero Avenue. It's 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 42 minutes. The Kennedy is an hour and 2 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. It's 40 minutes from Montrose, 26 in the Express. Outbound 39 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 19 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 59 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 43 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 39 minutes. Ryan, 22 minutes from 95th to downtown. Tri-State delays are northbound, 95th to 31st, and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Spot Adams Tollway Heavy Higgins to 53, Reagan Tollway Farnsworth to 53 with a crash on the left shoulder. Veterans Memorial stop and go I-55 to the Reagan Tollway, the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sun and clouds this morning, a rain shower possible this afternoon, high 72. 60 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
Hey, coming up, who else is bailing on Trump? We will attack them when freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, and so we got some good news in the late evening hours yesterday.
11:54 p.m.
The Chicago public school system will continue to be a discriminatory Soviet-style system that doesn't educate 90% of its students. That will go on uninterrupted. It will just be more expensive. Hooray!
We're just glad that the kids are back at school, Dan.
The Chicago Public Schools and the Chicago Teachers Union has a tentative agreement. What I would tell you is that it wasn't easy, as you all know.
Well, this is what they agreed upon.
She's lying. It's very easy for her to roll over Tiny Dancer and his toady Forest.
And they did a great job. I mean, they handed out striking material at 4:00 yesterday afternoon. Everybody put their CTU red T-shirts on. They scared all the parents because all the teachers privately told us we're going on a strike, so prepare yourself. They got what they wanted. They're going to get raises in the 3rd and 4th year of their contract. But the sticky point has always been the pension.
So what we're doing is that the people that are currently working will keep their pension pickup. The new hires will not have it. But they will get, at some point, a salary adjustment. So it's about compensation.
So it's about compensation. Those words should be on Karen Lewis's business card. That's what it's about. That was her Al Shanker moment. As soon as the students start paying union dues, I'll start representing the students. Now we, of course, know this. Thank you. But thank you for saying it. So we can dispense with the pretense that the teachers' union has anything to do with the education of children, that they have any interest in the education of children, except, as a after effect. The interest is maximizing compensation for the teachers because K through 12 school systems have become third-party administrators to confer benefits and salaries to adults. That is their primary mission. Their primary mission is not to educate children, and they're doing a very good job of dispersing, other people's money in the form of salaries and benefits to the adults and doing a very poor job, and Chicago Public Schools is right at the top of that list of poor performance, doing a very poor job at educating children.
Well, I think you're painting with a very broad brush. I think teachers love their students.
I said the teachers union.
But the teachers union, yes, that's why they're unionized. They're looking out for their self-interest. They wanted to make sure they got the pensions that they needed, that they're promised money that's not even there.
Excuse me.
They're fighting over money that's not there.
They're willing to burn everything down because of their sense of entitlement. I want to hear somebody defend the Chicago Public School System's academic performance. I want to hear the defense for it. This is not to lay all of the blame at the teachers. It is a system that is incapable of educating children. And it will continue to be. It's just going to cost us more to not educate children, which has been the same story at CPS for the better part of the last 40 years. And so all of those individuals who continue to vote for legislative Democrats and all the Democrats on the city council and the tiny dancer on the fifth floor, this is your school system. This is what you have begotten. You have moral responsibility for the choices that you make. And these are the choices, and this is the outcome. You have a pathetic little mayor with little people around him getting steamrolled by a avowed socialist thug and 28,000 teachers, the overwhelming majority, right behind her, cheering her on the entire way. And meanwhile, what's the number? 1 in 10 CPS high school freshmen will get a BA by the time they're 25. What did the outgoing president of Chicago State say about the disproportionate percentage of CPS students that end up at Chicago State as their post-secondary institution? Well, yeah, they don't belong here anyway. They're not prepared to do post-secondary coursework, and that's the fraction of CPS kids that actually go on to post-secondary education. And why is it that CPS teachers, 40% of whom send their kids to private schools, why they get that choice? But they also get to make the choice for everybody else in terms of where you're allowed to send your child, discriminate against people based on their household income and their address. That's the system. That's what you're defending. You're defending the destruction of the lives of children who never even get access to the opportunity to earn a quality education. You're racist because it's disproportionately Black and Latino students, 85% plus, because everybody who else could get out has gotten out, including a lot of Black and Latino families who could get out of the city or put their kids in private school or one of the handful of magnet schools that actually educate children. That's your system. And so when you complain about your property taxes, when you complain about crime on the streets, kids that never learn how to read or do simple arithmetic or reason critically, you have begotten that. Look around at the political balance of power in the city and the state. If you voted for those people, then you're an accessory. Before the fact, actually, you're an accessory to the policy choices they make and they continue to make because there's no consequence for them making them. So congratulations for what you have.
Well, they also, in their contract, they're concerned with class sizes from kindergarten through second grade. So they had a commitment from the school board about not oversized classes, and then teacher layoffs and recalls.
And let's remind people of a couple of things. One, the research is very clear. You know where school size matters?
No, I don't.
High school.
High school matters.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what the research says. Where's the emphasis on the number of kids in a classroom? Grade school. You know how kids where kids best learn foreign languages?
Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade.
Yes. You know where, and we've known that for 3 decades.
Yes, but still we start them in high school. It makes no sense.
You know how kids best learn science at the high school level? The order of classes we've talked about in this show before, but I'll repeat myself because nobody seems to pay attention. So I'll repeat myself just for my own personal enjoyment, so having said it. And it won't bore a hole in anybody's head who's a teachers union apparatchik or a Democrat loyalist in this godforsaken city and state, but I'll say it anyway. Just to highlight your ignorance. You think the conservatives are anti-intellectual. All of you supporting Democrats are anti-intellectual. You're anti-education. You're troglodytes. You're neo-Luddites, in addition to being thugs. Let's just be real clear about it, because I'm tired of it. And you're supporting a system, as Bill Bennett famously said, that is more racist than the KKK could have ever conceived in terms of the education of minority children in Chicago. Every single Democrat voter in Chicago is supporting it. And I'd be happy to hear anybody challenge me on the facts. Here's how kids best learn science. Physical science class first, then chemistry, then biology. And what's the first science class high school freshmen predominantly take?
Biology.
Right. And you know why we do that this way? Because the system is set up for the adults and their convenience. It's not set up to educate children. It's not set up to incorporate evidence, what we know about how children learn and what we've known for 30 years plus. Because who cares? It's about me and my unbelievable pension, where I put $135,000 in. Actually, I don't, because I only pay 2 of the 9% of my contribution. So I put $40,000 in over my 30-year career in CPS. That's a teacher retiring today. And I get $2.1 million back. Are you kidding me? In addition to being the highest paid public school teachers in the country, adjusted for cost of living. And you want to tell me about who's for teacher compensation and who isn't? And for paying whatever the market will bear. I understand people want to maximize their earnings. The system is unfinanceable, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it, or they should know it. They're being woefully blind if they don't. And you want to make this about who likes teachers and who doesn't. What a joke. Who's for education and who isn't? Who's for education and who isn't? 75% of CPS kids can't do math. Fourth graders can't do math or read at fourth grade level. 75% of eighth graders can't do math or read at eighth grade level. And we're going to argue, we're going to have this false debate about who likes teachers and who doesn't. Grow up. Not fish ain't biting here. So if you're a teacher in CPS, bring it. Because we're going to have a conversation on the merits and on outcomes, not on this false presentation of liking teachers or not liking teachers because I'm going to dismiss math as an opinion. I'm going to turn a blind eye to outcomes for children. Give me a break. It's a disgrace. Megan in Evanston.
Hey, guys. Dan, I couldn't agree more with you. The other piece of this contract includes a cap on charter schools. That means that CPS and CTU is disinterested in a minimum of 63,000 kids and families in Chicago who choose charter schools because they don't want to go to failing schools. But again, it's all about the teachers and the teachers union. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Megan. And, the teachers who say, I'm in the union and I'm afraid, I get it. And but here's the other thing. Here's what the other thing CPS does. You want to talk about teachers and who's pro-teacher. CPS drives good teachers out of the profession. And so does the state. It's a terrible K-12 system across the state. There are exceptions, of course.
We've lost 3 wonderful principals at Lakeview High School, at Lane Tech, Blaine.
50% of teachers will leave the profession in their first 5 years here. Why?
They have better jobs and more stable jobs in the suburbs.
It's impossible. No. State. It's impossible to have more stable jobs. You can't get fired. Here's why they leave. Because you have talented people who go into teaching to instill a love of learning into children, and they go into these Soviet-style systems, and you can't do what I got into teaching to do. So the hell with it. I'm going to go do something else. If I can't do what I love to do, want to do, then I'm going to go do it. I'll either go do it somewhere else, or I'll go do something else. So you have a brain drain from the teaching profession as well. You want to defend that, teachers union? You want to defend that, Democrat sops and simpletons, sophisticated barbarians in Chicago and the rest of the state who continue to vote for Democrat legislators in the suburbs that continue to do the bidding of Democrat bosses in the city? Come on. I want to hear from the tough guys out there. All the people that are so smart and so educated and so wealthy that I see in my neighborhood in Streeterville, Lincoln Park, and Old Town. All the people that get it. They went to Tufts and have advanced degrees, make a bunch of money. Sophisticated barbarians. Bob in Midway.
Hey, good morning. And I'll tell you what, 1,000,000% I agree with you. Was with the Chicago Fire Department for 38 years, 35 years spent in Englewood. Every time we did a fire drill or we went to check they pulled the alarms in the school. I said to the teachers, where are all the kids? They don't show up. And then when you think about it, there's 3 policemen on every floor. Dan, this is a disgrace. I remember last teachers union, there was a teacher's husband called, said, the kid comes to school, she has to wash him, she has to dress him up, and then first thing he says, I didn't eat breakfast or dinner last night. What the hell is all this welfare money? This is a bunch of BS. When I went to school, to a Catholic school, we had to come home for lunch. We had an hour for lunch. We walked home 4 blocks made sure we were never late. It was a Catholic school, and I'll tell you what, they would kick you in the rear end if you didn't learn. Or in these schools, oh no, you can't touch them. So where the hell are all the parents? This is turning into this teacher union BS. I mean, I'm for all teachers, but I'll tell you what, it's become a BS thing. It has.
Thanks for the call, Bob. I'm not for all teachers. I'm for teachers who are interested in educating. That's who I'm for. I'm not for all anybody or against all anybody. But I'm for people who stand up to do what they know to be right. And is that what's happening in CPS? Whether it's the electorate or the parents or the teachers? Look, parents obviously plays a role. The destruction of the family is the proximate cause of most of society's ills. And so the state can't raise children, and your parents are the ones who have the most profound impact on your intellectual development. No question about it. But you know who's second? Teachers. So you have a bad
They spend more time in school than they do at home.
So you have a bad teacher, you have a bad school system, that has a really negative effect on a child's intellectual development. That has a really negative effect on a child's path to be a successful, independent adult. And
we're blessed because we have wonderful teachers and we're in a wonderful school. And my kids study and they like to learn. And I just gave you the progress reports to get straight A's.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's great. And I'm glad their kids, Peyton and Eli, are at a good school. But you know as well as I do, they're in the distinct minority in Chicago. Mm-hmm. That's the reality. And it's the numbers are the numbers of the numbers. No one argues them, and no one defends them. Isn't it interesting? I'm in charge of a system that I won't defend. What does that tell you about the teachers union, as well as the political hacks like Claypool and Tiny Dancer? What does it tell you? It tells you they benefit from the status quo politically and financially, and that's what they care about. They don't care about kids, and specifically, let me be explicit, they don't care about black children and Latino children. So perhaps black families and Latino families in the city may want to get out the smelling salts and wake up to the reality that's going on, and how you have predatory politicians that are limiting your child's access to what everybody understands as the pathway to opportunity in life, a quality education. Are you going to wake up? Or are you going to continue to play their game? Are you going to continue to be their pawns? Alan in Rockford.
Morning, Dan. So the question I have is a taxpayer whose taxes have gone up on their home selling. And I live in Rockford, Illinois, whose school system is no better than that of CPS. You try to elect people that are going to even the playing field a little bit, but you and I have had the conversation before about how the public sector is simply overrunning our earnings. So if you try to elect somebody that's going to try and roll back salaries and benefits of the public sector and also force performance metrics to increase at the same time, do you think those people would ever get elected or have an opportunity to get elected?
Well, they can. I don't know. Can they get elected? I mean, that's the question, Alan. Thanks for the call. We get the representation we deserve. I don't know if they can get elected or not. I don't know what people want. If people want to be co-conspirators in the destruction of K through 12 education and civil society, then in a free society, you get to do that. So I guess that's the question for the voters.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure a reverse mortgage, give me a call. Hal called Chicago's hometown bank. The one that counts your change for free for a reverse mortgage. Hal